intro. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for that. I totally forgot I had YouTube on, and I'm like, why am I hearing double? Um, Welcome to today's episode where we pick off chapter 4, verse, what do we say, 48?
48.
48. Thank you for coming. Gonna try to keep it to 2 hours, two and a half, because I keep getting complaints it's too long. And make a book. Yes, I am going to make a book, but if you think the show is too long, wait till you see the book.
It'll be serious. It'll be volumes.
It's going to be volume. It's going to be like Al Tabre, 40 volumes, depending on the size of the book. Gadelia, who do we got? We got Sister Chloe. Hey, Sister Chloe, if you ever want to come in. We got a comment, but he was here earlier and he said, do you ever wonder why Toby Singer doesn't want to debate Sam Shamoon of Christian Pratt? No, I think I told him I got better things to worry about than Toby Singer. I don't think What Do Muslims Know has the time for Toby Singer.
Comment,
You
comment.
know?
It's not that I don't have the time. It will be kind of ridiculous to debate two opposite religions.
Right.
I mean, Kuffar already agree with me on that. If you take the Old Testament on its own without the birth of Christ, okay, you can't prove Jesus Christ is in it. So if he's convinced with that, how are you going to prove it to him? Okay, there is no mention to Jesus Christ in the Old Testament. Yes, the prophecies are there. Everything indicates to him coming, but without the birth and accepting the birth, you're not going to be accept what those prophecies are about. And Tuvia refuses the birth. So how can you prove something that he doesn't see there? It will be ridiculous to even have a discussion with him on it. Go ahead,
Right.
man.
No, I just wanted to clarify your stance. Here's the thing, and this is what we're trying to do with the Quran. Okay, if you were to be given just the Old Testament, right, and you didn't know anything about Christianity, I would not know that the Old Testament is referring to Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I would not know without the New Testament to explain the prophecies that are in the Old Testament. There is just no way that you could say, yeah, I would know it's talking about Jesus. No, you wouldn't know because there's no mention of Jesus. There's no reference. And this is the same thing. If you pick up the Quran, would you know what the Quran is saying without having the Bible? You can't. Because it starts talking about people that are in the Bible, but you don't know who they are because Allah doesn't really tell you much about the individuals. So it's to me, it's like a non-argument because you're not going to know anything unless you know about the New Testament. Okay, so let's start. Yes, yesterday, man, we really could have used you because there were some verses in there that. Oh, I know what it was. You remember that verse that says it's talking about the orphans, where it says,
Oh my gosh.
and marry two or three or
3 or 4.
four.
Yeah,
But
we were talking about the word and
I don't
and
think it
four.
says or. I think it says and. So it says marry two and three and
And
four,
that
which equals nine.
was, oh my gosh.
But we really couldn't. I mean, I tried looking for it. I know what the Arabic letter or word for and is, and to me, I read it as marry two and three and four. But you weren't here, so You weren't home, so it wouldn't help. But today you're here, so let's see. Let me go to, okay, so we're in uh 48. Okay, all right, let me get rid of this. All right. Surely Allah will not forgive partnering, 26, or worshiping other gods with him. But other than this, he will forgive whom he wills. So basically, this is saying that Allah will forgive everything except committing shirk. But
Again, this concept of partnering. If you're partnered with something, he's making it. This is a blatant claim. This is the Islamic claim that the Christians believe in many gods, and this is the stupidity of their small concept of God, that they can't actually understand a God who is unity.
right. But here's the thing. They partner Muhammad with Allah because look at
Yeah,
the Shahada. You can't separate Muhammad from it. In the
exactly.
Quran, it says you have to obey Allah and Muhammad. Why? Why do I have to obey Muhammad? What if I don't agree with what Muhammad says that supposedly is supposed to be from God? Okay, so that right there, which is what Muslims don't see. The minute you include and, that right there, they're joined at the hip.
Okay. But remember what we talked about when the Quran talks about messengers, they're not specifically mentioning which, because all it says, obey Allah and His Messenger. So they're partnering a messenger with Allah. Who is this
Right.
messenger? It could be anybody. Well,
Right.
we understand the Muslim understanding is Muhammad, but generally speaking, they're partnering a messenger with Allah, regardless whether it was Muhammad or anybody else.
But how would they know
That says something, and that's, I think, what people miss is if you partner anybody according to the Quran, anything with Allah, you have actually committed an act of shirk.
right? But it doesn't. It apparently it logically doesn't work that way for Muslims. Okay, so Allah won't forgive anybody who worships other gods. According to what do you call it, Osama, it says worshiping other gods with him, which is different than just partnering because that's what they do in the Shahada. But okay, but other than this, he will forgive whom he wills. Again, it doesn't matter if you don't commit shirk. It's still a 50-50 gamble that he will forgive you for your other sins because it all boils down to whom he wills. It doesn't say,
And
it
who he
doesn't say,
guides,
it
and he
doesn't
doesn't care
say,
who he guides.
right. So it doesn't say, hey, listen, if you commit shirk, then I'm not going to forgive you, but I'll forgive everything else. No, I will forgive you, but only if I decide to forgive you. So you could be asking Allah for forgiveness for sins that you commit, and he says, yeah, you know what? I don't like the pimple on his forehead. I'm not going to forgive his sins. Okay?
Again, Kuffar, don't forget the verse that says Allah guides whom He wants and mislead whom He wants.
Right.
So the Muslim has zero choice in anything. The Muslim can do A to Z and everything in between to please Allah. But if Allah choose not to guide him, He's not going to guide him.
Right. Which is why no, I was going to say the Quran. In the Hadith, Muhammad says that you are created for hell in the loins of your father while you're still in the loins of your father, meaning you are created for hell before you are even born, and you are created for heaven while you're in your father's loins before you are born. So it doesn't matter because you don't know which part of the equation you're on. Is it heaven or is it hell? So where's the guiding? If it's already decreed that you're going to hell, does that mean that Allah breaks his promise or he breaks his word? Because if Allah decrees you to go to hell and then he tries to tell you in the Quran that, he forgives this and he forgives that, well, then Allah just broke his words. And remember, Muslims like to point out to the Bible where God says he doesn't change. But apparently, Allah changes at the drop of a dime. It all
Well,
depends.
and just read 49 because that backs up what you're just saying.
Right.
And it says, "Have you not seen those who purify themselves? Yet Allah will purify whom He wills." So He's only going to forgive whom He decides to forgive, and He won't tell you what that means. I mean, that it says it right there. And it backs you up 100%.
Yeah.
And you know what? Scary. This is actually flowing.
For once, something is making sense.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So so Allah says, "Listen, I will not forgive anybody who makes partners with Allah or worships, any other god besides Allah, because it's a great sin." But then He says, "Have you not seen those who purify themselves? Yet Allah will purify whom He wills, and that they will not be dealt with unjustly." A thread.
Nobody knows what the thread is, I bet.
A thread of what? A thread of
Fate?
gold?
I've heard of the thread of fate.
Yeah. Okay, so 50. Look how they forged the lies against Allah. And that is itself is a clear sin. Okay, what lies? Okay, have you not seen those whom a portion of the book has been given? No, I don't even know who you're talking about. And who's he talking to? Have you not seen? Because if it's before my time, then clearly I have not seen. I
Well,
wasn't there to see.
and you're only getting to see those to whom a portion of the book was given, not
Right. Which
we don't
portion?
know anything else. I mean, you don't get to see what the book was.
We don't know what the book is, but we know that some people got a portion of the book, and he's asking, "Have you not seen?" But who's he asking? Because if you were to ask me, I'm reading this book, and it looks like it's talking directly to me. Have you not seen those whom it? No, I don't know what you're talking about. What portion? They
This one is
believe
like
in
this one is like somebody is talking to somebody. One person is talking to another person,
right.
telling the second person about a group of people who are deceiving or disagreeing with Allah.
They believe in Jib.
This is
What's
not Allah
Jib?
talking.
Hold on a second. 27 is unknown meaning in Arabic, so we don't even know what that means. They believe in something.
God knows
and,
what.
right. He should have put exclamation mark. And the idolatry, and they say to those who became infidels.
Wait, I thought Arabic was supposed to be clear, and the Quran was supposed to be totally. I mean, isn't it supposed to be the perfect book, and we can't even understand some of these words?
Well, according to Usama, he says it has no meaning in Arabic. Let me go and pull up the other website.
Which one? Which one that doesn't have a meaning?
He says they believe in, and he has the word JIBT.
Which verse is that?
This is verse 51.
الذين أوتوا نصيبا. Haven't you seen those?
And
who
by
got
the way, this is
from the
supposed to be
book?
a chapter on women.
بالجبت
We have read horrible
والطاغوت.
things about what Allah thinks of women.
الجبت
Yeah.
والطاغوت. Those two words, I don't have no clue what they mean. بالجبت والطاغوت. He's saying Egypt and idolatry. I don't see idolatry here. طاغوت.
You don't see idolatry?
No, we should bring up Ta'ir, man. We should make
I
an
know.
effort.
See if you can get him to come in, because
You want Osama in?
if Osama wants to come, he can explain it. I mean, I told you.
I think he was on
hoping.
earlier with Adam Seeker this afternoon, so I don't know if he's still on, but I'll double check.
Well, Paul, the guy we're talking about, Ta'ir, he actually has a PhD in the language, and he speaks fluently 7 languages. And
Who we talking about?
He knows the grammar, the meaning of the words, the roots of the words, if they are Arabic or they come from Aramaic sources.
Okay.
But the problem, he is kind of old school when it comes to computers. I could send him the link,
Yeah,
Okay.
but he would not know what to do with it.
yeah. But the other problem is his English is not very well.
Because it's hard to explain
Right.
the Arabic grammar into English.
So he's okay. RJ is saying the same word is used in 444. I can't remember. 444 is. Let me see. 444. Okay, where do we leave off? 51. Okay, what does 44 say?
No, there's no Egypt in 44. 444. ألم تر
That's what
الذين
he said.
أوتوا نصيبا من الكتاب
Yeah,
يتلون.
I don't see it. 44 says 21. What is 21? 21 says that's talking about the Bible. I don't see it in chapter 444. Have you not seen those uh, Jews and Christians who have been given a portion from the book? They purchased error and desire for you to go astray from the way. I don't see it. Let's go back to 50. Where were we? 50, 51. Okay. So we don't know what that is. Osama doesn't know what that is. Okay. They believe in something in idolatry, and they say to those who became infidels, though those are more guided in the way than those who believed. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's interesting because here I'm looking at the corpus.quran, and they call it superstition. That's the only thing I have here.
Right. But
Superstition. That's what they're defining it as. I don't know that that's exactly accurate, but that's what the corpus.quran.com says.
all right, let me see what this one says. Okay, 450. Okay, according to the word for word from the Islam Awaken, it says, do not you see towards, okay, of course, that word is not in the Arabic. Okay, but let's go with it. Do not you see? It's always reverse. It's like, don't you see? Do not you see towards those who were given a portion of the book? Okay, so again, some people were given a portion of the book, which we don't know. They believed in superstition and in false deities. So they use the word superstition. So, and they say for those who disbelieved, these are better guided than those who believe as to the way. Okay. Without all those parentheses, you wouldn't know what the hell Allah is talking about. All right. So I guess it's not important that Allah was not very specific. Okay. Those are
Definitely not clear again.
yeah, those are they whom Allah has cursed. Okay, so Allah cursed those people. And whomever Allah curses will not find for him any helper. So basically, if once Allah curses you, you're SOL because nobody can help you. Okay, so stop doing dawah. Because how do you know Allah didn't curse the person that you're trying to convince about the Quran?
It says it right there, and whoever Allah curses will not find him any helper.
Right.
So no human can help us who are cursed. So again, yeah, that's exactly it. If no human can help them. If you can't give them Islam and help them, I mean, why do you bother? that's the honest
Because they
sad
don't
truth here.
because they don't understand their what do you call it? They don't understand their book. They've never read their book. The majority of Muslims, I would say, they just recite. You know, they're no better than me teaching a parrot how to speak.
Okay, 90% of the Muslims, they don't know the Arabic language.
Right.
They just keep listening to it, memorize it, and repeat it like parrots.
Yeah.
The
That's what
10% of the Arabic speakers who know the Quran, I would say 70% of the 10%, they can't even read. You
Well,
got 30% of the 10% left. Out of the 30%, you might have 15% or 10% who are so-called scholars, and then you have about 20% of the, I mean, and the ones who actually start learning and know and understanding the Arabic itself and doing the research themselves, they end up leaving. So the majority who don't know the Arabic, they follow the lies and they stick with it.
Yes.
And no matter what you and me come and tell them, they're not going to believe you. They're going to believe they're Muslims, they're Muslim brothers. The only way they're going to believe what you're saying if they put us both on the side. If they put their scholars in the garbage and they put us in the garbage and they take themselves, educate themselves on their own, then they would understand what we were saying is true. But they don't believe you, they believe their scholars. So that's why it's hard to get to them.
Well, also the last time I checked, I mean, I know it's been a while. There was like a 40% illiteracy rate uh, amongst the Muslim countries. So you're talking about shoots. What, four out of 10 people can't read that are that are Muslim. That's not good. Or do they have, okay, 53, or do they have a share in the kingdom? I don't know. Do they? So then they will not bring to the people a.
How can you have a share in the kingdom when you're cursed?
I don't know. Okay, so 28, or do they have a share in the kingdom? Question mark. So then they will not bring to the people a 28, a speck on the back of a pit from a date. Whew!
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a lot for that one word there.
Which word is this?
It's the
Nakira.
last word of verse 53. I mean, that's a heavy duty one there. Oh, baby. I got some Muslim telling me that I'm the one who doesn't understand the Quran. You're right. I don't understand the Quran because it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense in Arabic. Doesn't make sense in English or Spanish or any other language.
We have any Muslims in the room? In the chat?
I
No,
don't
no. I just popped in and looked at one of my notifications. I don't think we have any.
I mean, okay, we admit we don't understand the Quran. Can any of them come and explain it to us?
I mean, we got
I mean, just
11.
reading, not reading what scholars say, not reading what, just using common sense. That's all we, definitely.
But the thing is that even sometimes if you read the scholarly tafsirs, you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Because like
You need a translator to translate the translation.
I
of the
will give you
translation.
a good example.
No
If you
side.
look at the tafsirs for chapter 86, verse 7, the famous from between the backbone and the ribs, or the rib. If you read the tafsirs, it makes you want to laugh because they say from between the backbone and the rib, it's talking about the woman's breastbone, that she has gushing sexual fluids that have something to do with the fetus. Now, if that's the best of their scholars telling you that a woman ejaculates from her breast area, well, we got a problem, ladies and gentlemen.
Scary.
Don't mess with the women. They might ejaculate on your eyes.
All right, we're in 50. Where are we now?
We're
I'm kind of losing track. I'm sorry.
We're in 54. We couldn't figure out what Nagira.
Okay.
Okay, 54. Or they envy the people about what Allah has given them from his bounty. Man, Allah has a bounty that's large.
I think that what do is so accurate when he said this book is all about sex. It's all about booty. I mean, this bounty thing. And we got to keep understanding when he's talking about bounty, it's like a reference to Muhammad's raids. So when they're done with the raids, they distribute the good, the general good out to the people in Medina. That's the bounty.
Okay. Now this one is funny. So indeed, we gave the family of Abraham the book and the wisdom, and we gave them a great kingdom. Who? Can we be more specific? Because Abraham had a big family. Who got the book? I mean, Muslims.
Wait a minute. I don't remember Abraham being given a book. Not in the book of Genesis.
It says here the family of Abraham got a book, but we don't know who in the family of Abraham got a book.
Is he talking about the immediate family, distant family, relatives?
I don't know. I don't know,
Is
brother.
it,
I don't know.
I mean, he doesn't even say if it's Ishmael's kids.
And
if it's
a great kingdom. Now I know Muslims are thinking, "Oh my God, this is talking about Muhammad. This is talking about the Muslims, the Great Kingdom." No, it's not.
They didn't get a great kingdom, so it definitely can't be them. I mean, if you consider desert a great kingdom,
Yeah.
I don't think you have a very big concept of
I
kingdom.
still want to know who in the family was given a book. How many?
Yes.
And okay, so the family of Abraham were given the book and the wisdom, and we gave them a great kingdom.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Don't the Muslims say is we sent messengers and their books, or prophets?
Yeah,
Don't they consider Abraham as a prophet?
yeah. So he would have
So
gotten a
where is
book.
his book?
I don't
They
know.
don't mention Abraham's book, but they mention his family's book.
Yeah, I don't know.
The
I'm
family
pretty
of Abraham. So
I am.
yeah, it's not very clear. That's for sure.
I'm pretty sure probably somewhere in the other 110 chapters there will be a book for Abraham.
No, it's interesting here. And even getting that book, go on to 55. It says something
So
about this
okay,
book.
so Abraham's family got a book and wisdom and we gave them a great kingdom. Okay, so some of them believed in him. Well, so that means some of them that doesn't sound very appealing.
That
Must have been
doesn't. I mean,
must have
if
been
this book is so powerful, why do only some of them believe in Allah?
You
must
know
have been
you know what this book is? I could tell you right now.
Oh,
crap.
what?
The Torah, the
Oh,
Zabur and
oh
Torah.
no.
Because the
Well,
family
yeah.
of Abraham will go back to who?
But Abraham didn't have. Okay, if they're saying it's
Not
his family, then
Abraham,
we're talking
his
about Moses
family.
being given the book.
His family. Who's his family?
Okay, we're talking about
Jacob.
Moses then. Yeah.
So who is from Jacob? Follow it up. It goes back to Moses.
Okay,
So
but
Moses
This
was
part
given
about the
the book.
wisdom still gets me. I don't think I can
But-
think of it as that's a reference to Proverbs, but I just think it's a poor reference.
but still, we're talking about a book that's clear and detailed. I don't see any detail. It doesn't tell me which, the family of Abraham, which one. I mean, Abraham had 8 kids.
Yeah,
The
but
dude was,
who out of all the kids? I mean,
the
come on.
dude was
I
popular.
know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but be realistic. Out of all the kids, who got the book?
Well, he would have been the line of Isaac, Jacob.
Okay, and who's
According to
from
the
there?
Quran, 29, 27, 1949, 21, 71, 72, or 72, 73.
So all this will refer to Moses and the Torah and the book.
Right, okay.
And those who accepted it, but okay, those accepted them, they were forgiven, or the devil or heaven or hell will not go anywhere with them.
Okay, so
did the
some of
Muslims
them,
accept it? They call
so,
it corrupted.
so some of them believed in him, and some prevented others from him. Okay, who are these some? And sufficient is the blaze of hell. Sufficient is the blaze of hell for who? No explanation. I now
And
I
it's
know
not.
enough
It
about
doesn't.
the
It's not a
Quran.
complete.
Yeah,
This is where we don't have complete thoughts again.
I mean, I
We went
know
from having
the,
some flow to having no flow.
I know the implication, but that's only because I have a brain that still works, but it's not there. Okay, so 56. Surely those who became infidels in our verses, we will roast them in a fire so often as their skins are burned.
just a sec.
What happened?
Oh, I heard Paul say just a second, but I don't know if he was talking to me. Okay, so 56. Surely those who became infidels in our verses. So I guess the verses made them infidels. How do verses make people infidels unless the verses are false? We will roast them. Now, this is the merciful Allah. He's going to roast them in a fire so many times that their skins are burnt. Then we will change them for other skins so that they may taste the torment. Surely Allah was dear, wise. So Allah is going to roast you in a fire until your skin burns off. Then he's going to put back the skin so you can be roasted again and your skin burns off. So this is going to be a perpetual skin is burnt off, skin grows back. Skin is burnt off, skin it grows back. I mean, this is sick. Okay, in the garden's paradise, men will have multiple purified, ever virgin wives. Okay. And those who believed and did good deeds, we will admit them into gardens, and we know. And below them there's rivers, and they will abide in it forever and ever. Okay. In it they will have purified 29 ever virgin wives, and we will admit them into a shadowy shade. What the hell does that mean? You're going to have purified virgin wives, and you're going to be admitted into a shadowy shade. Anybody know what a shadowy shade? Sounds kind of shadowy to me. Okay. Surely Allah commands you to give back the trusts to their people. Okay. And when you judge between the people, to judge with justice. Surely Allah preaches graces by it to you. Okay, so Allah preaches. Alhamdulillah. All right, surely Allah was hearing, seeing. What do you mean, surely Allah was hearing? Okay.
Because he was deaf at one point.
Or he's deaf now and he can't
Or
see.
he was hearing. Listen to that. He's now blind.
And can't
surely
hear.
Allah was hearing, so that means he's now deaf. He
Right.
was seeing, that means he's now deaf.
So he's deaf and
blind.
he's deaf and blind
now. Allah is
Right.
deaf and blind.
Oh, you who have believed. Again, I hate this when Osama uses "oh, you who have believed." Let me just take a peek at 59 and see what it really says according to these other guys here. Okay, oh, you who have attained faith. Let me go word for word. Oh, you who believe, and then they have the D in brackets. So believe, believed. O you who have believed, obey Allah and obey the messenger. See, there's a partnering of Allah and the messenger and those among you in charge of your affairs. So not only do you have to obey Allah, you have to obey the messenger and anyone who is in charge of your affairs. Don't know who that is, your parents, your husband, the government, who knows. So if you dispute in anything, so bring it before Allah and the messenger. Okay, well, how can I bring something before Allah? Allah is not present. Wouldn't Allah have to be physically present for me to bring something to him?
Well, I guess he
Or-
gets to be the judge then if he's physically present.
Or
And
does
that's another thing. I mean, when we talk about going before God, the definition of the Jews and the Christians of going before God is just getting down on your knees.
right?
I mean, there's that's actually explained
right.
in the Bible over and over again. They show examples of it.
No explanation of what.
No explanation here. At least we haven't seen one yet.
Right. So bring it before Allah. Okay. So you bring your dispute before Allah, implies that Allah is going to be a judge.
Or
Well,
his
how can Allah
messenger
be
is going to be
and the
acting. Or we're
right.
not talking about a prophet. We're just talking about a messenger.
Right. If you were believing in Allah and the last day. Okay, so if you dispute in anything, bring it before Allah and the messenger. If you're believing in Allah and the last day. Okay, so that's only if you're believing in Allah in the last day, then you bring your dispute to Allah and the messenger. Okay. 60. Have you not seen those who claim that they believed in what has been sent down to you? Okay, have you not seen? Okay,
Have you
I
not
don't.
seen those who claim that they believed?
Again,
I mean, how are we supposed to see these people?
see,
And
here's
who
my
are these
problem.
people?
Right, but here's my problem that I have with that sentence, because if that's talking to me, or if it's talking to, let's say, Muhammad is talking to the Arabs, and he's saying to them, have you not seen those who claim that they believe in what has been sent down to you? and what has been sent down before you.
I don't
It
know what they're
implies that you have foreknowledge of whatever was sent down to, which we don't know what was sent down, because it doesn't even say a book. It just says what was sent down to you. Now, I know Usama says the Quran, and then he says it's the Bible in 31. But again, we are assuming,
It
and you
can't
know
be
what
the
we say
Quran.
about assuming,
It can't be
Mhm.
the Quran.
you know? Well,
That's just
clearly
not. It just
it can't
doesn't
be
work.
it can't be the Quran, because the Quran was revelation, and when this verse and when this chapter, which I think we came to the conclusion, this is chapter 92. So there still wasn't a Quran. See, I have a problem when somebody tells me the Quran, I'm thinking of the physical Quran that I have, that I read, or that we're reading. There was no physical book. Even after Muhammad died, there was no book. There was just pieces all over the place, and there were
There was
people
just
who
there's people
right,
doing recitations. That's it.
and there were people who had memorized portions of said Quran, because there's nowhere that I see any evidence that anybody had memorized the whole Quran.
And then they all disagreed about what that meant too.
Right. Let's say, okay. They desire to be judged before the idolatry. They desire to be judged before the idolatry.
That doesn't make any
So are
sense.
the idols going to judge those people? Because that doesn't make sense. How are you judged by idolatry, or is Allah saying that they're going to be judged by Allah for their idolatry? Who knows? And indeed, they were commanded to become infidels. Okay, so well, wait a minute. Who commanded them to become infidels?
Okay, so they say it almost sounds like if we're just following the
They were,
imaginary train of thought, which doesn't exist here.
they were
Um,
commanded to reject what was the book that was sent before.
Okay, but who
So
commanded them?
I don't know where it says they commanded them to become infidels. The
okay, verse
understanding of
60.
rejecting the book makes you an infidel, but they were not commanded becoming infidel. They were commanded to reject the book.
Okay, which makes them infidels. I see what you're saying. In it, okay, and then it goes on to say, and Satan desires to lead them astray, a faraway straying. Are there like different types
Yeah.
of stray? But still, who commanded them to not believe in the Quran? That they became infidels? Was it Satan?
No,
Or
Because
was this
clearly
not
it
it
being
said,
committed?
refers to those who claim that they believed in what was sent, whoever those people are.
right. But
But
again, who
if that book
commanded
didn't
them?
exist, or are they talking about becoming infidels and not believing in the Torah? Because the Torah is the only book that existed. I mean, we have the New Testament and the Torah that existed at this point, but they were talking about Abraham not too long ago. So are we talking about the Torah? Are we talking about the New Testament? Which book are they going to become infidels about?
We don't know.
Whatever was
And who commanded them? Because it doesn't say that Satan commanded them. It just says, and Satan desires to lead them astray. I mean, Satan can desire something, but that doesn't mean that it
yes.
becomes
And if
reality.
Allah's commanding you become infidels, again, what good is a dawah?
Okay.
Right.
Go back to 60. Go back, lower it down to 60. Where is the beginning? Okay. Have you not seen those who claimed? So have you not seen? Let's play the role, the three of us. I'm telling you, Kuffar, have you not seen those who claimed that they believed? Those who claim to be, let's say that is Paul. So I'm telling you, have you not seen Paul believed in what has been sent down to you, Kuffar, and what has been sent down before you? They desire to be judged, which means Paul is desired to be judged before idolatry. And indeed, they were commanded, which means Paul was commanded to become an infidel, infidel in it. And Satan desired to lead Paul a faraway astray. So when you take things like that, try to bring it personal, and that might give you a little bit more sense of. It's not going to give you a sense of the meaning, but it will give you a sense of what they're talking about.
It is bizarre.
I'm still trying to figure out who commanded them, because it wasn't Satan. Satan takes advantage of them being commanded to become infidels. He desires to lead them astray, a faraway stray, in which, okay, 61. And when it is said to them, it what? Oh, okay. Come to that which Allah has sent down. Okay, what did Allah send down? And to the messenger. You have seen the hypocrites turning away from you with repetitiveness. I'm not quite sure what that means. Okay, so come
They
to
keep turning away, they keep turning away, and they keep turning away is all I can think of.
come to that which Allah has sent down. What did Allah send down? Allah sent down a lot of stuff. Allah sent
Maybe he's
down
trying to
the
hit them with the clouds,
No, it could be.
rain, stones.
So
Hail?
how when some misfortune befalls them because of what their hand had sent before, then they will come to you swearing by Allah that we desire nothing but to promote good and reconciliation. Oh, I don't know what the hell. Something they
How does
sent.
he desire? I mean, it's quite a bold statement that we desire nothing but to promote good and reconciliation. When he said he wants to torture people, he wants people to sin so he can torture them more. And how does he desire nothing but to promote good if he's that kind of a God that he wants people to sin more so he can torture them more? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but Paul, that's not Allah speaking. That's somebody speaking, saying that they were swearing by Allah
Okay.
that they desire nothing.
Okay.
Apparently, it's talking about people who had misfortune befall them because of what their hand had sent before.
Oh, so it's not Allah saying
What
that he
right?
desires good. That's okay.
But
So
but
somebody
what
else might be desiring
right?
God. So they might be better than Allah.
But what do they mean by their hand had sent before? What did the hand send? What is your hand capable of sending?
Isn't when they start talking about their hands, aren't they talking about slaves? Right hand, left
I don't
hand.
know. I don't know. I have
Hmm.
no clue. Okay, so
Hmm.
they say they swear by Allah that they desire nothing but to promote good and reconciliation. Okay, 63. Those are those whom Allah knows what is in their hearts. Okay. So turn away from them and preach to them and say to them flawless words about themselves. Okay, so you're going to tell the people something about themselves.
Well, I mean,
So
it's like having a seer. I mean, or a
is
you
that like
go to
going?
one of these. Imagine what do you call these?
Is that like going
Scam
to?
artists today.
Is that like going to a psychiatrist and the psychiatrist tells you about
Oh
yourself?
no, we're talking about you pay like you go to a shaman, or you go to somebody who's into astrology, and they tell you about yourself. When they deal in generalities, they don't deal in specifics.
Okay,
Yeah.
64. And we have not sent any messenger, but to be obeyed by Allah's permission. So Allah gives you the permission to obey the messengers. What if Allah doesn't give you the permission to obey?
I
So
think it's
you
about
need
the
Allah,
messenger. I think that's about the messenger obeying Allah.
and we have not sent any messenger, but to be obeyed. I'm reading that as the
Oh,
messenger is to be obeyed by the people.
Yes,
But
okay.
but
yes. The
but
people have to obey the messenger
right, but by Allah's
by
permission. So
Allah's
you
permission.
need Allah's permission
So,
to obey
in
the
other
messenger.
words, this messenger is worthless if Allah doesn't give you permission to obey him.
That's what I.
So
That's
wow,
what I
that
believe.
says a lot about Allah because they keep turning it away, and He keeps recording it. So a lot of people must not have Allah's permission to obey.
Well, that means the three of us here, we don't have Allah's permission because we're not obeying.
Wow. This God is not very big.
So let's see, Gedalia, I'm looking at it. It says something about the verse was revealed about a hypocrite by the name of Bish, whom Omar ibn Khattab had killed. This hypocrite had a dispute with a Jewish man. How do we know that from the verse,
Not
Gedalia?
this
Where
verse.
does it say that? I have no
No, she was
clue.
not. She was not referring to this verse. She was referring to
Oh,
the
okay,
previous
okay.
verse. But again, Gadaya, the issue is this: if they claim that the Quran is in clear, pure Arabic for everybody to understand, I don't need reasons for why this came down or what was this supposed to be. I'm supposed to read it and understand the reason from the Quran. Okay,
But how?
if
But
I
it's not
cannot
clear.
understand it from the Quran, then the Quran is worthless. Unless if I'm an idiot, I have to go to a lawyer to explain to me a lie and end up following it. A person with brain should be able to read and understand without going to somebody else based upon what the Quran says. The
Yes.
Quran, Allah in the Quran says it's clear. It's for everybody to understand unless if you do not speak the language. Well, it's not clear to you, I understand. But the bottom line is this: Allah states in His book that the Quran is clear to the people of that area. So the people of that area should be able to read and understand the language clearly without nobody explaining it to them. When it
Wow.
gets to the point where you need somebody to explain your language, there's a problem.
Well, I mean, we know Allah is an Arabic speaker, so we have
He
to
doesn't
learn.
speak
If
English.
this
He doesn't
Right,
speak.
we have
This
to learn.
Allah is very limited in his ability because
Okay,
he can't speak other languages.
let's continue because we've been on almost an hour, and I think we've managed to do like what, less than 20 verses. At this rate, all three of us are going to be very old. So
What do you
no,
mean, very young?
oh,
We go
yeah,
backwards, we
I
don't
hope
go
it goes
forward.
backwards. That would be awesome, man. Then I would advise us to read really slow. Okay, so 65. Say no. I
Oh
swear,
no.
but I don't
Yeah,
think I
that's right.
swear is in there. Say no. By your Lord, they will not believe until they have set you up as judge between them in what they dispute.
What are they disputing?
Who knows? Then they will not find in themselves any embarrassment in your judgments, and they will submit with complete submission. Okay.
So whatever it was they were arguing about, it would be embarrassing for it to come out. Is that what they're saying?
Hey, this is a make it up as you go book. If it sounds
Wow.
good to you, it sounds good to me. All right, 66. Okay, and had we prescribed to them, whoa, 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 and had we prescribed to them, kill yourselves or get out from your homes, they would not have done it except for a few among them. So if the messenger had said, kill yourselves or get out of your home, only a few would have done it. I mean, does that make sense to you?
This just tells us that
Or
if
is this Allah?
Allah or his messenger tells people to kill themselves, they
But
don't necessarily obey him.
but suicide is supposed to be against Islam. So why
Or
would
is
Allah
that
say kill yourselves? It's a
so,
if, and had we prescribed. So he's saying if Allah had said kill yourselves or get out of your homes, there would only been a few that would have done that. Well,
maybe they
because they're
just don't want to
smart.
listen to Allah?
Shoot, if you know, if my God or a messenger told me to kill myself or get out of my homes, I'd say, boy, come meet my girlfriend, the Glock. They would have not done it except for a few of them, because those would be the idiots. And
They
if
would not have asked you.
Well,
You would have been
and
running from that Glock.
and if they did what was preached to them, it was better for them and a greater strength. So it's better for you to kill yourself than not kill yourself. Thank you, Allah.
ولو أن كتبنا عليهم أن اقتلوا. Okay. I mean, again, how can you understand a sentence if it's structurally written wrong? What do you understand from me going to school yesterday to learn about science the day before?
I don't know.
I mean, there's ولو أن كتبنا عليهم أني أقتلوا أنفسكم. That doesn't make sense at all.
So Allah doesn't know grammar. Well,
I
that
know
would be what
but,
you would expect from
I mean,
someone
I
who's
can see
illiterate,
what
though, right?
Sama put in the English, but in Arabic, that is grammatically wrong.
Yeah, he's trying. I see that over and over again. He's trying to clean it up.
أو أخرجوا من دياركم. أخرجوا. Whatever, man. Let's go.
So basically, if Allah says for you to kill yourself, it's better that you kill yourself. Do not go against Allah's wishes. Okay. And then we surely give to them from us a great wage. Okay, so who's this? I thought this was the messenger speaking. I mean,
I can't figure that out.
I can't figure out who's talking here. Okay, so
The only one who usually gives this wage that keeps saying he gives a wage over and
would
over
be
again is
Allah,
Allah.
right? And surely,
But that's after he needs a loan.
so let me get this straight. If you kill yourself because Allah commands you to kill yourself, Allah's going to give you a great wage. Okay, but you can't spend it.
See, again,
That's right. You
Allah
can't
loves
spend.
blood.
He's
Allah
going to pay you,
loves
but
blood.
something you can't use.
Hey, maybe you need that wage to buy those 72 whores.
Wait a minute. They're aliens. We got to get that straight. They're aliens.
Okay. And we would have guided them to a straight way. Again, we would have guided them, meaning, and
Allah doesn't care.
whoever obeys Allah and the messenger, so those will be with those whom Allah has given his grace among the prophets and the okay, and the persons of integrity, and the martyrs, and the good what?
ومن يطع الله والرسول.
But remember, whoever obeys Allah is in the messenger is only if Allah wants them to obey Allah and the messenger.
Again, Allah by himself does not make you a Muslim. You have to have his partner with him. It's
Right,
a partnership, Allah and Muhammad.
You got to have Muhammad or the Prophet and the martyrs, and those are an excellent company. Okay, 70. Such is the bounty of Allah, and Allah is a sufficient knower.
Oh my gosh, he must be peeping again.
Okay.
He's watching, he's looking
What
in your
happened?
windows.
I thought he was the all-knowing. Now he's just sufficiently knowing.
He barely knows. I mean, sufficient has to do with barely. You just
right.
You know the bare minimum.
Right. You know enough to pass. Okay. Oh, you who have believed, take your precautions. So go to war in separate groups or go to war all together. Take your precautions. What the hell is precautions? And then go to war either in separate groups or go to war all together. Okay.
I mean, taking your precautions would mean take your weapons with you, I guess.
I don't know. And surely among you there are those who will go slowly. And if a misfortune befalls you, he says, indeed, Allah graced me, and that I was not a martyr with them. Okay, so hey, here Allah's being
so
nice.
They walked slowly so they wouldn't die in battle. I guess that's
right.
What he's saying.
And actually, it was good because Allah graced him for the fact that he wasn't a martyr with them.
So it's too bad for you guys who died. Huh?
Yeah.
Unless the guy who was smart and walked slowly, he's getting paid off.
And if a bounty, 33, spoils of war. So every time we see bounty, just think spoils of war. And if spoils of war from Allah befalls you, they will surely say as if there had never been any friendship between you and him. Does anybody understand what that I don't understand what Allah's trying to say.
I don't think Allah,
I don't think
if
Allah
I read
understands what
this,
he's
it's
saying.
saying that Allah isn't a very good friend.
I wish I had been with them so that I would have triumphed a great triumph. Now, clearly
That
this is
doesn't
not
follow.
Allah. This is somebody else speaking. Okay, but isn't the Quran Allah speaking? But that's not Allah speaking.
Yeah,
There's no indication that Allah is saying what somebody else was saying. So Allah is saying what Muhammad said. Okay, so let those who purchased the world's life for the hereafter engage in war for the sake of Allah, and let those who purchase the world's life, they purchase the world's life for the hereafter. I don't understand.
So this is a call for Muslims to engage in jihad so they can get forgiveness of sins.
I
This
get
is
it.
that great wage that they're talking about, whether he's killed or victorious.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he survives or not, as long as he engages in war.
And he will get a great, and
That's how he gets the next life.
And Allah will give him a great wage because having 72 aliens is very expensive.
And you got to give 70 away because that's how you
Right.
get your relatives in.
And what is the matter
No
with
women,
you?
of course.
Yeah. And what is the matter with you that you should not engage in war for the sake of Allah? So Muslims say that they only fight in self-defense. But here Allah is saying, what's wrong with you? That you don't want to go to war for my sake. It doesn't say, why don't you want to go to war to protect your country, to protect your family? No, just go to war because, it
For the sake
pleases
of Allah.
Allah. It pleases Allah. And the weakened among the men and the women and the children who say, our Lord, get us out of this village where its people are unjust, and grant us from you a friend, and grant us a helper from you.
So
Okay.
I can speak to what I believe this says. One of the practices of Islam is the hijra, the migration. And throughout history, since the creation of Islam, I'm just going to refer to there are several battles that occurred in India in the late 1800s, early 1900s that are actually recorded in a few history textbooks, where a Muslim leader would declare another Muslim leader basically an apostate, and he would call all those Muslims that were in that place where they called that apostate and tell them to come over and commit a hijra to them, and then they would attack that place. So, I mean, those people were weakened until they came to where the strength was, and then they would just annihilate those others. That's the closest I can get to that.
Okay. I mean, like I said, you can pretty much make it mean whatever you want. If you want to make it that the toilet overflowed, I mean, you could probably do that. All right, 76. Those who believed engaged in war, it should say those who believe engage in war for the sake of Allah. Again, you're just going to war because of Allah. And those who became infidels engage in a
Are you
war for
talking
the sake of
77?
idolatry.
76 we're in.
Oh, 76.
So engage in war against the friends of Satan. Surely the scheme of Satan was weak.
So wait a minute, who is he talking to there? Those who became infidels engaged in war for the sake of idolatry. So the Muslims should engage in war against the friends of Satan, I'm kind of, or is he talking to Christians there, or infidels there? So engage in war against the friends of Satan. Surely the scheme of Satan was. That's a little confusing.
So I guess if you're an idolater, you believe in Satan, but that's not true. Being
Those who
being a
believe,
Satan.
Not even polytheist. I mean, a lot of polytheists
Right.
don't believe there's such a thing as Satan.
Right. So I mean, Allah doesn't know that because I don't understand. It says here, the people that became infidels, they go to war for the sake of idolatry. So engage in war against the friends of Satan. But like you said, there are religions that, or so-called religions, that you would say that they believe in idolatry, but they don't believe in Satan. Those who believe in Satan don't associate other gods with Satan or other idols. They make Satan their god. So Allah doesn't even know anything about Satan or
That's
what
kind of
idolatry
scary.
is. You know,
It's not in our
Limited. Didn't we
lifetime.
say his knowledge? I think his knowledge is less than sufficient at this point.
yeah, it's going down the toilet. Have you not seen those whom it was said would hold your hands, 34, from waging war, and perform the prayer and bring the legal alms? No, I haven't seen those people. Where are they? So when it was prescribed for them to engage in war, behold, a group of them feared the people like the fear of Allah, or a greater fear. Hmm. So there's a greater fear than Allah. So you can fear something more than Allah. Then Allah is not a very
Could that
good,
be the real God?
I guess. And they said, "Oh, our Lord, why did you prescribe for us the engagement of war? Were it not that you delay us to a near time, say, little is the enjoyment of this world, but the hereafter is better for him who fears, and you will not be dealt unjustly a tread."
Again, I think we're
I
at
mean,
the
are
concept
we
of threat of fate.
are we
It's one thing I keep
are
thinking
we
about when I hear
sewing
that.
here? Are we doing embroidery? Okay, and they said, "Our Lord, why did you prescribe for us the engagement of war?" Something about, were it not that you delay us to a near time. I don't know what that means. Say, little is the enjoyment of this world, but the hereafter. So I guess going to war and dying is, it's okay, because you're going to get lots of goodies in the
Yeah,
hereafter.
you're gonna have the boys who do not bleed. You're gonna have rivers of wine. You're gonna have virgins. You're gonna have whatever is forbidden on you on earth. You're gonna have it in heaven,
Okay. 78.
or Jannah, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Whoever, oh, okay, I'm sorry, whoever. Wherever you may be, death will overtake you, even if you were in lofty towers. Well, that's true. It doesn't matter where you're at, you're going to die. Look, Elvis died in the toilet. If good fortune befalls them, they say, this is from Allah. And if misfortune befalls them, they say, this is from you.
well, that's nice.
This is from
It's
you,
your fault.
you. Okay, but who's you? Okay, so they give credit to Allah if they have good fortunes, but if they have bad fortunes, this is from
It's
you.
anyone
You
but Allah's
who?
fault.
Okay,
Does
I
that
don't
mean?
know. Was it you, Paul, who said if let's say an earthquake hits California, they will say that's great, that's a punishment from Allah. But if the earthquake hits Saudi Arabia, that will be misfortune. It will be something else.
Yeah, because you got California being infidel, and you got Saudi Arabia being the land of the believers. This is from you. Say all is from Allah. So basically, if you have good fortune, if you have bad fortune, it's all Allah's fault. Don't say it's from somebody else. Don't try to blame somebody else for what Allah has done to you. So if you get your arm chopped off because you stole something, that's Allah's fault. Allah's the one that made you steal, so you can have your arm chopped off. So what is the affair with these people? I don't know. What the hell is what does that even mean? Oh man, I hate when you get an eyelash in your eye. Okay, somebody else is gonna have to take over because oh, I think I got it. Ooh, okay. And it sucks when you have to wear glasses, because then even if you look in the mirror, you can't see. Okay, so what is the affair with these people? I don't have a clue they are not near to understanding speech. So these people don't understand speech, but they're having some kind of an affair. Okay. Whatever good fortune befalls you is from Allah, and whatever misfortune befalls you is from your own self. But didn't you just say that all comes from Allah? And we have sent to you the people as a okay, and we have sent you to the people a messenger as a messenger. All right. I still don't see Allah saying, and I have sent to you a prophet.
I haven't seen that.
So indeed, he obeyed Allah. Okay, so Allah.
I
Okay,
think
wait,
you missed it. Allah is sufficient.
yeah, I
Allah
just
is
said that.
just Allah is a sufficient. He's a barely good. He's just so if Allah's a bad witness is what this is basically saying. He just passes the mustard as a witness. I mean,
But here's it's funny because it says, and if misfortune, okay, all right, if good fortune befalls them, they say it's from Allah, and if misfortune befalls them, they say this is from you. But the messenger or whoever is told to say all is from Allah. So misfortune is from Allah, and good fortune is from Allah. But then if you go to verse 79, it says, whenever good fortune befalls you is from Allah, and whenever misfortune befalls you, it is from yourself. That
see, Allah
contradicts,
blames everybody
but that
but
contradicts,
himself.
but that contradicts verse 78, where it says
Oh, then that means
misfortune.
we just had abrogation.
Yeah, because 78 says whether it's good fortune or bad fortune, it's all from Allah. But then 79 says no, good fortune is from Allah, and bad fortune is from you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's where, yep. So then that makes sense. So we go back up to 78, 78 it says, and if misfortune befalls them, they say, this is from you. So it backs that up. It's not necessarily abrogation. It's Allah playing the blame game. It's not my fault. It's your fault.
But 78 says everything is Allah's fault.
It says both.
And then 79, now it's not his fault if some misfortune befalls you. It's your own fault. And we have sent to the people as a messenger.
I thought he was a god. Isn't he supposed to be, able to help us or not
Yeah,
help us? I mean,
but but
it's too much for him.
here's the thing. If this really is a sentence, this doesn't make sense. And we have sent to the people as a messenger, sent you to the people as a messenger. That's an incomplete sentence. And Allah is a sufficient witness. How can Allah witness when Allah never comes down and testifies? Could you imagine Allah being a witness to a crime, but he can't show up to the court? Okay, again, whoever obeys the messenger, so indeed he obeyed Allah. Again, there's the partnership between the messenger and Allah, because whatever the messenger says, it's good as gold. So if you obey the messenger, you are obeying Allah. Now we are to assume that the messenger will never say anything that Allah didn't say. But how do we prove that? We don't. Okay. And whoever turns away, so we have not sent you a keeper over them. Okay, so Muhammad's not a keeper. He's not to blame for anybody who turns away and doesn't obey him.
See, in 80, the English does not show it at all. In Arabic, it says "man yuti'i." Doesn't have no meaning. It doesn't have no sense. It doesn't have nothing. There is no such thing in Arabic says yuti'i. I mean, it means who obeys, but the way it's written, the way with the characteristic, the dialectical marks on it, the way you pronounce it doesn't have no meaning unless if you understand the word, which means whoever wrote the Quran made a huge spelling error. It's supposed to be man yuti'u rasul, not yuti'i and kuffar. If you look at the Arabic, you understand what I'm saying, even though you're not gonna understand it, but you can tell from the drawing.
We're on what?
That's 80.
Okay, the word for
And
it.
how is it one sentence in Arabic and there's a whole paragraph in English with commas and full stops?
Yeah. Because here on the word for word, it says he, but there is no he. So basically it says, who obeys the messenger, then surely he obeyed Allah.
Allah.
And
ومن
whoever
تولى فما أرسلناك
and
عليهم
and
حفيظا.
whoever turns away, then not we sent you over them a guardian. Because even the word for word adds stuff to make it make sense. Because then it says, then not we have sent you over them as a guardian, but have and as is not in the Arabic. So it says, then not we sent you over them a guardian. Okay, yeah, but like I said, Allah sent his book in such a language that nobody can understand it. Even if you read, now, what do you just don't know the Arabic of the Quran? You just know modern Arabic. That's why you don't understand the Quran.
But I can read it. I don't
Oh
have to
yes, but
understand. I can read it. Grammatically, it's wrong.
but
ومن يطيع.
you don't know the Arabic of the Quran. Your
Okay.
Arabic is a different
Okay.
Arabic.
I'm going to go along. Remember what some people say, that the Arabic grammar evolved from the Quran.
Right.
So how come when we learn grammar in the school, we don't learn the grammar of the Quran?
I don't know. Maybe the school that you went to was smart and they realized that the grammar of the Quran is so messed up that if they taught you the grammar of the Quran, you would be messed up.
Okay, that's one school. What about the school in Saudi Arabia compared with the school in Egypt? When they teach Arabic, it's the same exact language. It's the same exact grammar. It does not change. See, the
Okay.
only difference between Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Egypt, Jordan, okay, or Syria is the dialect, the pronunciation. Some words are different in dialect, which is the street language. Well, but when you learn the Arabic in any Arabic country, the grammar is the same. The words are the same. The literature is the same. Poetry is the same. History of the language is the same. It
Right.
doesn't, there's not then, I mean, you can't change nothing. And Arabic is one of the essential languages in high school that you have to pass in order for you to finish high school. There's a government test at the end of the 12th grade. You take Arabic is one of it. You flunk in the Arabic, you flunk the whole year. You have to go back to school and repeat the whole year.
Ouch.
So if somebody in Saudi Arabia goes to Egypt, they can attend school and the Arabic is the same. They're not going to change languages.
Right. All right, let's continue to A81. So, okay, and whoever turns away, so we have not sent you a keeper over them. 81. And they say obedience. That doesn't make sense. So when they go forth, from your presence during the night, a group of them change what you say.
During
Ooh.
the night.
Yeah, apparently, I guess. But listen to
I
this.
don't see during the night. Where did that come from?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. It says during the night, a group of them change what you say.
ويقولون طاعة فإذا برزوا من عندك بيت طائفة منهم غير الذين تقول والله يكتب. I don't see days or nights in there.
Even the word for word says, and when they leave from you, plan by night, a group of them, other
That's
than
one,
what you
right?
say. So I don't know, dude.
I don't know where
I
he came up with
don't,
that, but okay.
I don't know. I mean, it's not worth it the time. But I like the next one. And Allah writes down what they do nightly. Woohoo! Allah can write.
Which one? 82?
No, we're still in 81. This is in the middle. Right after the night, a group of them change what you say, and Allah writes down what they do nightly. Now, why would Allah need to write down? Isn't He God? Which brings up another question that CP said. If Allah is God, the all knowing, the Almighty, why does He need the Quran written down in tablets? Doesn't He know his words?
No, he wrote them on tablets so he can show them to Jibreel, so he can show them to Muhammad.
But
But
Allah writes.
the problem, Jibreel hid those tablets from Muhammad, and all he did to Muhammad, he recited it to Muhammad, and ask Muhammad to recite from after
Well,
him.
I mean, come on, let's face it. How many tablets would poor Jabril have to carry? I mean, I wouldn't do that either. I'd make up my own stuff.
One,
But that's one
the
big tablet
preserved
to have
tablet.
114 chapters, 6,236 verses. It must have been in microscopic form. Well, it would have been less because no dots. But here, the funny part is Allah writes down what they do nightly. Man, that's a lot of writing. Could you imagine how many we have? What, 8 billion people? And Allah is writing down what everybody says? Or does
So
he only write?
Allah writes what you say, puts them in the tablet, and they become Quran.
That could be.
Is
So
that
turn
what you're
away
saying?
from them and depend on Allah. And Allah is a sufficient guardian. Okay, so what's he guarding you from? Okay, this is a good verse here. Do they not consider the Quran? Now, see, Allah is very clear. He says Quran. He doesn't say, do they not consider the book? He's very clear. Do not consider the Quran. Do they not consider the Quran? If it was from other than Allah, they would have found in it many inconsistencies. So,
No comment. No comment.
was it the verse or something somebody's saying on the chat?
No, the verse.
Okay, but do they consider the Quran? Okay, if it was from other than Allah, so if the book was not from Allah, they would have found in it many inconsistencies. Okay, but yeah. Okay, listen, man, you're laughing too much. Yeah, you want to clue us in?
Well, the Quran as is confusing. It's not consistent.
Right.
It doesn't give you anything of what is the actual purpose of it. And this is supposed to be from Allah. So
And
imagine a human being trying to write something like this.
but here's the thing. So if the book,
You can't. Literally, as an educated person, you can't.
right,
Before this Quran was written, you got the pre-Islamic poetry that was written in perfect Arabic language, including grammar and spelling. And that's before Islam and before the grammar and before all this. And those people are supposed to be illiterate. So how come the pre-Islamic was perfect with the Quran is imperfect? So literally, in order for you to write a book like the Quran, I mean, you have to be, I can't describe you. I mean, unless if you gave a monkey to write a book and he said that's the only way I could tell you could write a Quran. Other than that, no human being in his right mind will write a book like this because it doesn't mean nothing. And you have a writer here who knows what writing a book refers to, how you write a book.
Oh my gosh, it's a lot of research if you're going to do a decent book. I mean,
But-
even if you're writing a fiction, you're doing research so you can. This book has so much. I know that verse 82. I like how Usama put it. According to verse 82, finding inconsistency in the Quran's proof that the Quran is not from Allah. It says, "Do they not?" I think you can't say it any more clear. I mean, we have seen one verse contradict the next verse, and then in the middle of all that, he creates abrogation, and to say basically, I'm going to contradict myself. So whatever I tell you later. So he's already told you he's going to create inconsistencies. So he's already saying out loud that this is not from Allah. I mean, if we're only reading chapter 4, you've already been told right here that this is not from Allah.
Allah would not make this kind of mistakes. If you're talking about perfect God, he would not make these mistakes unless who wrote it is not from him, which is true. It's not from him.
but
It's
how
from
do
the
you,
desert prophet.
right,
No,
but how
sorry,
do you-
he's not a prophet.
but how do we define many? Is it two? How many inconsistencies do we have to find before we realize
Well, forward,
that the
5,
book is
10,
not from
15,
Allah?
20. 300 maybe.
I mean, it
I mean, how
doesn't
many
say.
how many have we encountered so far? That's when you're doing that book. If you really want to feel like you can be mathematically sound, or you can get Rad to do it, count how many inconsistencies.
I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
so is this saying that if I find 10 inconsistencies, the book can still be from Allah? Because it doesn't say, it just says many. All right,
Many, but
83.
don't forget, kuffar. Many does not mean many. Many means many, but when you
Yeah,
Say that
say
again?
black, when you say black in Islam, it doesn't mean all black. It means black, but there is a spot white. If you say yellow, it doesn't mean all yellow. It means yellow, and there's a red spot. So the word many does not actually literally means many. It means there is something that is not part of the many, which you don't know what it is.
All right,
Oh, boy.
83. And when matters come to them, either of either of the security or the fear, they spread it abroad. Okay, that
Who is
doesn't.
they?
I have no clue. But if they would report to them, oh, okay. But if they would report them to the messenger and to those who are substantial in the affair,
Whatever affair it is.
yeah, and then those among them who desire information would learn it from them. Okay. And were it not for the bounty of Allah on you and his mercy, you would have followed Satan except for a few. Okay, that doesn't make sense, but that's okay.
Again, with all due respect to Osama, I think he's reading the Arabic wrong, because his verse 83, when it says, and when matters come to them, either of security, whatever, they spread abroad, but if they would report them to messenger, I don't think report means send back or return. Actually, return it back, unless if the two have the same meaning in
I
a
don't
different
think he
way.
says anything about returning it.
Because report in Arabic will be rudduhu. Report will be rudduhu. Report. Like
So what do you have? If spread it abroad. And what was after that? You said
radduhu means return it.
okay, and return it to the messenger is what you're saying.
Return
Or
it to the messenger.
okay,
So I don't know. I mean, if does return and report can be interactive with each other?
No,
Or
I don't think so.
return to the messenger as reported to the messenger?
yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it. I don't think there's any difference in really what the wording there is, though.
And the word for word, it says, but if they had referred it
It's the same thing.
to the messenger, which is
In English,
referred
it means the same thing.
and reported, yeah, just different ways of saying the same thing. But there is a difference between what do is saying. Okay, okay, so let's go to 84. We're at almost an hour and a half. So out of the blue, we go, so engage in war for the sake of Allah. Okay, so again, what does that mean, engage in war for the sake of Allah? Where does it
You
say,
must engage in jihad, is what he's saying.
okay, lay not burdens on any but yourself and provoke the believers?
So,
Okay,
as I've been saying, I mean, this is what I've covered a lot this past week on how the followers of Allah must be engaged in a level of jihad. At the bare minimum, they have to hate all that is not of Islam. So that is the bare minimum level of jihad they're allowed to be in.
right. Okay, so and lay not the burdens on any but yourself and provoke the believers. What are we provoking the believers to? To fight? Perhaps Allah will restrain the fierceness of those who became infidels. And Allah is the strongest in torment and the strongest in retribution.
So I got a question for you, Dr. Kufar. If I just did something, I don't know how I did it. Pardon me. if Allah is this all-powerful God, and if he says, I will restrain the fierceness of those who became infidels, how did the United States just go kick ass? I'm sorry. If Allah is going to restrain the fierceness of those who became infidels.
See, but here's the thing. Also, it says perhaps. You ever see in the Bible where God is speaking to Moses and say, "Hey Moses, I want you to go fight the Amalekites, and perhaps you may win."
Well, this Allah can't. He's afraid to take any credit for anything that goes wrong.
I mean, could you see Moses? Moses be like, "What do you mean? Perhaps we're gonna win. Either we're gonna win or we're not gonna win. Let me know which one, because if we're not gonna win, what's the purpose of going to fight if we know
We do know
we're
that
going
there
to
was a
lose?"
battle that Moses was not a warrior. He stood on the sidelines, and everybody and Joshua did the fighting. But we do know there was a battle they lost, and we know that part of the reason was there was somebody who brought idolatry into the camp.
Right.
But if Allah, is so fickle that he
But it
has to use
wasn't
the word
because
perhaps, we can't
right.
trust him.
But it wasn't because God told Moses, "Perhaps you'll be victorious." There was a reason behind it. Here, all we have is perhaps Allah will restrain the fierceness of those who became infidels. So, sounds like the infidels are better fighters than the Muslims. Okay,
I would definitely say yes.
85. Whoever intercedes a good intercession, a portion of it will be his. What the hell does that mean?
So if you can pray good, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And
If you can
whoever
pray good,
inter-
you get a portion of it.
and
I guess that's
whoever
that earning through works.
I don't know. And whoever intercedes an evil intercession, a portion of it will be his. And
So Allah can't be blamed.
and Allah was keeper over all things.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
And Allah was keeper. So Allah's not keeper anymore, ladies and gentlemen. He retired. He's gone off to Bahamas. He's left it in the hands of Allah number 2.
The
Okay,
hippie
verse
Muhammad.
B, 86. And when you are greeted with a greeting, so greet with a better than it, or return it. Okay,
This is such bad grammar.
I'm telling you. Surely Allah was a sufficient encounter over all things. Okay. Alrighty.
He's only sufficient. He doesn't get an A. He gets a D. Sufficient.
Yeah.
I mean,
87. Allah, there is no God but him. Did Allah take Shahada? He will surely gather you to the resurrection day. Okay. There is no doubt in it. I don't know. Allah seems to be a very doubtful God. Okay. There is no doubt
you
in
wouldn't want to. I mean, he doesn't want you to doubt him, but he ain't going to help you unless he feels like it.
and whose speech is more truthful than Allah's.
Anybody who wants to deny him, it sounds
There
like.
you go.
Anybody
All right.
who has brains, his speech is better.
Yes. Because if this is our speech,
Heck,
somebody's
even a
grammatically
mental
incorrect.
even a mentally retarded or mentally disabled or whatever term, I'm not trying to be mean, but whatever
Okay, I
term you
taught
use
children
has
who
better
with
speech than Allah.
I taught children with special needs, and their grammar was far better than ours. I did that for 20 some odd years. I've maybe only met one child whose speech, I mean, okay, their speech was better, but their writing was close to this bad. I've only
God
met
bless you,
one
man.
kid in over 20 years.
God bless.
Okay,
I don't
that's
know how you
sad.
do it. I would not be able to deal with that. I don't have that. I mean, I just can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not a very patient individual, so I
Not,
couldn't
not,
be a
not the
teacher.
fact of being patient. It's the fact of seeing those kids going through what they do, and literally, I don't have nothing to be able to help them with.
Well, these kids, that was my job. I mean, I was to try and help them fix those things, but you can only do. Sometimes kids just don't have that ability. And like you said, there are people who are, the medical diagnosis is retardation. So people get upset when I use that term, but it is actually a medical diagnosis. They like to use intellectual disability these days.
Politically correct.
Retard only means slow. So I don't like it used as an insult. It only means slow. And I think the people who use it as an insult are really ignorant. And slow does not mean anything else. I mean, it just means slow.
All right, so we're 88. Okay. What is the matter with you that you divided into two groups concerning the hypocrites?
What
When
two groups?
Allah,
And what is it?
I don't know. And okay. What is the matter with you that you divided into two groups concerning the hypocrites when Allah has cast them off because of what they have earned? Okay. Do you desire to guide those who Allah has led astray? So here you go. Ali Dawa, stop doing Dawa, because if Allah has led us astray, there's nothing that you can do to lead us back to the
That's
right
what it
path.
says right here, chapter 4, verse 88. It is stupid to do dawa.
So do you desire to guide those whom Allah has led astray? And whomever Allah leads astray, so you will not find for him a way. So
Why even bother trying to? And this makes me wonder why Muhammad ever did any preaching, because right here it says he shouldn't be doing it.
So when the Meccans didn't believe in Muhammad, why bother? Why spend 12 years trying to convince these people? Clearly, Allah says, "Listen, if I lead them astray, you're shit out of luck. Stop preaching to them. Go find yourself that black stone that I threw over there." All right. They desire that you should become infidels, as they are infidels, so that you should be alike. So do not take any of them for friends. I think it's his guardians. Until they, oh yeah, this is the verse 489 that basically says kill apostates. And they say, no, it doesn't say that in the Quran. Okay, so do not take any of them for friends.
Guardians. Okay. Yeah, I think that's
Okay, until they immigrate for the sake of Allah. And the word immigrate here means until they become Muslims.
yes.
Or you might need to polish on your Spanish language. We have a Spanish speaker in the room.
Oh,
So
really?
Spanish. Okay, can you read that in Spanish to him? Or can you do it or not?
His English is bad, but I guess he speaks Spanish. I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So you might need to add
I never
that
learned
into
that.
the
I never
discussion
learned
once in
enough
a
to
while.
pass.
Okay, so you speak Spanish. Okay. All right. So do not take any of them for friends until they immigrate for the sake of Allah, until they become Muslim. So if they turn away after they became Muslim and they decided, you know what, this is not for me, I'm going to say aloha. So if they turn away, so seize them and kill them wherever you find them. And do not take from them as friends or helpers. But you killed them.
So you kill them off, and then you're not supposed to take them as friends or guardians.
So basically, this is saying that, okay, if an infidel becomes a Muslim and then they turn away and they go back to being an infidel, you're to seize them and kill them wherever you find them.
And that's one of the reasons why you'll have people like from Iran here in the States and in Canada who are fearful of being found by Muslims. I mean,
and this is where
yeah,
we get Muhammad in the Hadith saying, whoever leaves their religion, kill them. It's right here in the Quran. If you become a Muslim and then you turn away from being a Muslim, they're supposed to seize you and kill you. Now, it doesn't say become an apostate, but you don't have to be a rocket science to understand that this is what it's saying. If somebody you're not supposed to be friends with somebody until they become a Muslim. And once they become a Muslim, and if they turn away from being a Muslim, then you kill them. Plain and simple. Except those who will arrive to a people between you and them, a covenant, or those who come to you their chest shrinking from engaging in war with you or engaging in war with their own people. Oh my God, I got a headache. Okay. And if Allah willed, He would have made them dominant. So you, okay. Okay, see, I told you, man, this thing messes me up. And if Allah willed, He would have made them dominate you, so that they would engage in war with you. Okay. Okay.
So it says something right there. Allah doesn't care if you win.
No.
He's okay with other people dominating you. It says it right there. So Allah does. He likes entertainment. So he flips a coin. Okay, you can win. Oh, you can win. Oh,
okay. Again, and if Allah willed, okay, so Allah doesn't know if He wills or not. So if they withdraw from you, they will not engage in war with you, and they offer you the peace, the
They're
salam.
talking about a payment, I believe. Am I
This
correct? What do is if they're offering you the salam, the peace, that's a payment, correct?
Kinda.
Could be the jizya,
I mean,
but I don't know.
No, that's not jizya. This is something different. I see this as a payment for engaging in war.
if they give you peace, that means basically they're paying you by submitting to you.
Yeah. It's some kind of payment here. The offer, because it's not peace is in this culture. There's a payment. You just don't have peace. You have to pay for it. Even in the Rid of Wars, they had to pay.
Okay, so all right, so Allah will make for you a way against them. Okay.
Which one is this? 90?
Yes, we're in the last part of 90.
Yeah, 90 was a long ass verse. Okay, 91.
Well, if they gave you peace, in other words, literally they're like submitted to you.
Right.
So by them submitting, basically paying you with something, whether money, with their lives, with their paying something. Exactly. Yeah, Paul, you're right.
And if if that's the case, then Allah will not make for you a way against them. So Allah is not going to make you fight them. Okay, 91. You will find others who desire to be safe from you. I wonder why. And safe from their own people. Why would they want to be?
I want to be safe from this guy who's killing off his own people.
So often as they return to the sedition, they will be overthrown in it. Okay, my God.
I wonder what the sedition is.
I don't know. So you're going to find people who desire to be safe from you, meaning Muhammad, and safe from their own people. Now, why would they need to be safe from their own people? So often, no, this does not make any sense. So often as they return to sedition, that is bad.
Again, what is the sedition? Bad. I mean,
I don't know. They will be overthrown in it. How do you get overthrown?
Why would you be? I mean, it's so poorly communicated here. Allah is a bad communicator, but if you are committing, and the other thing to understand here is sedition is a referral to politics. It is a referral to something you do not against a faith structure. Sedition is something you do against a political entity. So this is another reference where Islam cannot be separated from politics. It's not possible. I mean, sedition, you basically, what you do is you go in and you work from inside the government to destroy it. And that means you can slow things down, whatever. But sedition, yeah. Sad. This doesn't make any sense.
So if they do not leave you, nor offer you peace, nor withhold their hands, so seize them and kill them wherever you find them. Now, what exactly are you?
Kill those who commit sedition.
Okay.
But It's anybody who disagrees with you is what it sounds like.
It could be overdose. Okay, okay. Seize them and kill them wherever you find them.
And we're not even
Overdose.
in chapter 9.
No. Overdose, we have given you clear authority. Okay. And it was not for a believer to kill a believer except by mistake. And whoever kills a believer by mistake, so freeing a believer's neck, so freeing a slave, and the blood money will be paid to the family of the slain unless they give it as alms. Okay, so the only way you can kill another Muslim is by mistake. You didn't know he was a Muslim, and if you kill a Muslim,
Hey, what do we have a lot of cases where Muslims kill Muslims?
Basically an honor killing or something to defend the honor of that nature.
Yeah, but
That's
I mean
fine.
that's where they accuse each other of not being Muslim enough. But don't we in
No.
general? I
Honor
mean, you go
killing
to the
has nothing
Islamic
to do
world,
with that.
isn't there a lot of Muslims killing Muslims?
Honor killing has nothing to do with that. Like, let's say a Muslim goes out and have sex with another Muslim sister, mother, something of that nature.
Yeah.
Okay, or a wife commits adultery with somebody else that when they killed her. But when Muslims kill other Muslims, you're gonna find that between Sunnis and Shia, Sunnis and Qurani, Sunni. I mean, like ISIS, when they kill the Yazidis, they're Muslims. When they kill other Muslims because they don't believe in what ISIS believes in. So yes, nobody. I mean, Muslims kill more Muslims than non-Muslims killing Muslims.
That's kind of what I'm trying to get at.
But this refers to, like, let's say, for example, two Sunnis. One was killed by accident with the other one. In order for you to go free, it's one of two things. Either the Slade family forgive you and tell you, okay, we don't have I mean, you're freed and you're free to do whatever you don't. We have nothing. Or if the killer pays money for the Slade family. But if a non-believer kills a believer, then you have to kill them back.
In jihad, the Muslim is allowed to kill other Muslims as long as he takes out one unbeliever. That's actually been defined in oh my gosh, where did I see that? I think it was in Al Qaeda. There was a hadith. There were hadiths. As long as they take out a Jew or they take out a non-Muslim, that's okay. As long as they took out one who was not Muslim.
And that's where the suicide bombs come from.
Yes.
Collateral damage is okay as long as you take out at least one infidel.
Yes, and that's. I mean, there's actual. You know, our we actually have defined declarations of. I mean, orders of. And if you served in the military, you know there's rules of rules of engagement, and you have to follow that, or you go to jail in the United States Army or Navy or whatever. This basically says you can kill the guy next to you as long as you take somebody else out. It's not a kind of military I'd like to be part of.
All right. So okay. So if the person that was killed. So if the person that was killed was a believer, was from an enemy people to you, but why would other believers be enemies to you? Does that make sense? Why would believing people be fighting believing people? For what? So freeing a believer's neck. Now, again, this is an incomplete thought. So if the killed believer was from an enemy people to you, so freeing a believer's neck. Period. Okay. And if he was from a people between you and them.
Hold on a second. Why would Usama write this word, the one before 37?
Kayatia?
Yeah. that means mistake. Uh,
Right, except by mistake.
but the way he wrote it, it means sin.
Okay, because he's saying okay, he said except by mistake. It's a non-Arabic word of Syriac origin, so it's not an Arabic word.
The word khatiyya is not Arabic, but
Right.
khata is Arabic.
Okay.
Khata means mistake. Khatiyya means sin.
I don't know.
I don't see there is that much difference. I don't think it's that much of
Well,
a difference.
there's a difference between mistake and sin.
Right.
If a believer kills a believer by mistake, and the believer kills the believer, is a sin.
Oh, I see what you're
Believer
saying.
killing a believer by mistake is not a sin.
Hmm.
So the word in Arabic is illa khata, which means by mistake. Why would he put it in English and then he says it's not Arabic when it's actually it is? Unless if he's referring to a sin.
I think it might be the particular Quran that he's using. That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I don't.
Because
I
there
don't.
are
I
different
don't know.
Qurans. We know that. That's all I can think
If
of.
it's possible, Paul, if it is possible, maybe you can outside live, maybe we can have just a talk because I mean I'm not gonna sit there and try to attack him on things. I bluntly admit I probably he has a reason for what doing he's doing, even though it doesn't sound right. So if there's a chance that we can do a private session on Skype with him for me to
I can
understand
arrange
why,
that. I can
just if you
arrange that.
can, give me like footnotes about why he's putting certain words where it doesn't belong.
I don't know. I don't know that they don't belong, but I think I can arrange the discussion. I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be on his show tonight. So yeah,
Hey, send us the link to the show so we can watch.
I'll put the three. Yeah, I'll put us together.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so whoever kills a believer by mistake. Okay, so we got that. So if the believer is killed from a people that are enemy to you, again, my question would be, why would two believing groups be fighting each other? So freeing a believer's neck. Okay, and there's no explanation, no what you have to do, just freeing the believer's neck. Okay, and if he is from a people between you and them in covenant, so if you kill somebody who you have a covenant with. So blood money is to be paid to his family, and again, freeing a slave. So you have to pay his family, and you have to free a slave. Well, what if I don't have a slave? So who has not the means so
Where
fast?
does it say free a slave?
Huh?
Where does it say free a slave?
It says freeing a believer's neck. I don't. I'm assuming that means a slave.
No, tahrir means free the neck of the person who died, the one who was killed.
How the hell do you free somebody's neck that you
The
killed?
killer, the killer, to free the neck of the killer, which is the other believer, is by paying money.
Okay.
There's no slaves here.
I thought
That
freeing.
okay, I'm a believer. I killed the believer. In order to free my neck from being killed, I have to pay the family of the dead, the one I killed by mistake, which is
Yeah,
believer. I have to
this
pay
is where
them
the
money.
Sharia comes from, where you talk about if I mean they have there is a requirement of retribution for killing somebody, that they would be killed, and this is how you avoid that retribution. You pay blood money.
Yes.
If
Okay.
if you
I
have the
kill one
money,
of your slaves, you have to kill one of my slaves. If I'm a believer, I killed a non-believer, that's his loss. So if I
hold on.
kill a
Yes.
believer, in order for me to go free, I have to pay the family of the one I killed money. If I killed a slave of a believer, the believer who I killed one of his slaves has to kill one of my slaves and will be equal. But if a believer kills a non-believer, it's a loss on the non-believer.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know why I was thinking because it says okay, freeing. But here's the thing: if you don't have the money for the blood money, don't worry. Allah gives you a way out. You just have to fast for 2 consecutive months. And you'll be okay because Allah was knowing and wise.
Yeah. Imagine you don't eat for 2 months. What does that make you?
But
Dead.
this is not. But remember, this is fasting. This is not where you don't eat. You just have to fast. So you don't eat for 12 hours, but then you can pick out for 12 hours, and you're okay. You're
Yeah,
good to
but
go.
this is not Ramadan. It's not saying about Ramadan here. It's saying
Ah,
fasting.
but
The
it doesn't.
fasting, that means you
But
have to fast 24 hours.
but it doesn't say what kind of fasting.
Okay, where are we? What verse?
We're in 92.
Okay,
Sorry, I
well,
missed that.
you might need to call Allah and ask him. And his
Yes,
number
because
is 000030.
because well,
Wait,
I mean,
but
if you
how does he go from blood money to fasting?
well,
But
because he
if
says here, if you don't have the money, then you can fast for 2 consecutive months, and that will be penance from Allah. Now, what does fasting for 2 months mean? Does it mean that you can't have any water? Because you will be dead within about a week. With food, depending on your body composition, you could probably afford to lose some weight.
But you can't live 60 days without food.
Sure
I
you
think he
can.
has no problem with you being killed, is what he's saying.
You can live without food for 60 days. What do?
Not everybody. I would
No, that's what I'm
disagree.
saying. It depends on if you're like say a guy who's fit, and let's say you have like 10% body fat.
What is fit?
Then you're screwed.
What is
Define
fit?
fit.
I'm talking about fit would be like you don't have much body fat on your body. Then you would die.
Yeah,
Because once your body drops below, I think it's 3% body fat, then it starts to eat
the
away at your
muscle.
organs. Don't
Yeah,
forget the muscles. Your muscles will be the first ones to go. But
NY Embrace. You can go 5 months without food.
yes, if you're fat, say you're 400 pounds, you could go months without eating. Now, I'm going to tell you, it won't be pleasant, but you won't die. You'll come out a new person.
I've actually met some people who were quite heavy and have done to at least a month or two without food.
Yeah,
But this is only again if you're plump or
right.
you're
If
obese.
you're
I mean,
not
with by any means
right,
obese.
if you're slim, you got a good chance that you might die. Now, if this also requires not drinking any water,
You're
don't
dead.
worry about it. You'll be dead within a while. If you're in the desert, you'll be dead within a couple of days. No
Okay, but
problem.
remember, during that time, you would not find obese people because everyone was active, either going after the sheep, either going into wars, either for the general public at that time in that area. All
Well,
of them were slim.
I agree with you. There were very few obese people. The obese people would be the kings and the royalties because they could eat whatever they want. And even them, I don't think they were fat because you might have to go to war and could you see a 300-pound, 5'6" king going to war, getting on the horse? The horse would probably say, "Get this fat ass off of me! I ain't going to war with this fat ass."
Well, it's a bit camel. We're not very many horses in this area at this point.
Yeah,
But yeah,
well, then even the camel would say, "Get this fat ass off of me, man!
Guys, you forgot
my
the
humps."
elephants. You keep
All right,
forgetting the elephants.
so we're
they're elephants.
yeah. So let's go. So Allah doesn't define fasting for us. I'm assuming it's the same fasting as in Ramadan, just not done in Ramadan.
So
Okay.
people would die very quick. Again, Allah doesn't care if you die.
Well, remember, if it's no food or no water, then yes. But if you're allowed to eat, like in
This
Ramadan,
would actually,
then you're not going to die.
in 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 Sharia, it basically says there is a requirement of retribution, and it doesn't have this thing where you pay it off with it because it doesn't mention the fasting because I think it's assumed from the way this is written that you either do the retribution, pay the blood money, or you're just dead. I mean, they don't talk about fasting because that's a death sentence. To them, I think I haven't seen in Sharia where they talk about fasting as a result. I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure they don't include it because they consider that the death sentence too. I can do that.
Okay, so then it says 93, and we're coming up on the 2 hour mark. And whoever kills a believer intentionally, so his reward will be hell. He will abide in it forever, and Allah's wrath will be on him and will curse him and will prepare for him a great torment. So you better make sure you kill him accidentally. Don't kill him on purpose. Otherwise,
Oh, for a war, we're killing them. We're killing them intentionally.
you're SOL. Okay, 94. Oh, you who have believed, when you go forth to war, to fight, jihad, for the sake of Allah, make investigation. And do not say to those who offer you peace, okay, what are we investigating before we go to war? Okay, and do not say to those who offer you peace, you are not a believer seeking the width of the world's life. I don't know what that means. Sounds poetic. So with Allah are abundant spoils. Oh, Allah's got spoils now. What happened to bounty?
I guess he's spoils of war. It's the same. It's same
Likewise,
reference.
you were before. Okay, likewise, you were before what? So Allah has been gracious to you. So investigate. Investigate what?
That Allah already stole what you had.
Surely Allah was aware of what you do.
The spoils of war are something you take as a result of, you think about that. So if Allah has spoils, he's already, that's a statement that he's already won the war. I mean, if he's abundant in spoils, I mean, he's got so much he can give it away if he's abundant. All right. Am I wrong there? What do?
Those who give you peace, don't tell them that they are not believer. In other words, if you tell a believer, peace upon you, I shouldn't tell you you are a non-believer and kill you. Why?
Oh.
Because I have gained from you to keep you alive. I have all what Allah gave you in life for me to take. So in other words, again, Allah wants blood and wants money, gains, whatever, money, women, whatever I can get from you as a non-believer by keeping you alive for saying peace to me.
Okay, likewise you were before. I don't know how you were before, so Allah has been gracious to you. So investigate. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to investigate. Surely Allah was aware of what you do. Again, this was in the past, so that means Allah is no longer aware of what you do. So guys, go ahead and do what you want because
do what you want to. Allah can't tell.
Allah can't tell. Okay. Those believers who stay 39 and do not fight, other than those who are substantially injured, are not equal to those who perform jihad for the sake of Allah with their monies and their lives. And I believe this is the verse where it got changed because when the original verse came, there was a blind man in the room and he said, whoa, whoa, what about me? I'm blind. So then the verse was changed, so that you don't get punished for not going to jihad because you have a legitimate excuse like being blind or being sick or being, maimed.
Well, in Sharia, there are obligations to engage in jihad. Let me see. I have it written here. Just a second. I mean, some of these things you sit here and you look at, it's just kind of mind numbing. Let's get here. I have it someplace here.
Allah favors those who perform jihad with their money and their life. Okay, so Allah promises each of them the goods. The goods, man, you're going to get the goods. And Allah favors those who perform jihad above those who stay with a great wage. All right, so don't stay home when Allah calls you to go and kill the infidels. Okay, degrees from Him and forgiveness and mercy. Okay, so if you go and you fight jihad, Allah's going to give you great wages and degrees. So you're going to get wages, but it's going to be in degrees from Him. Now, I don't know what the criteria is. Okay. Here comes that stupid hair in my eye. Ah.
Sure.
Somebody's gonna have to take over.
So surely those that the angels cause to die while they are unjust to themselves said, "Where were you?" What? Wait, Allah was. So the angels cause. So angels cause somebody to die while the unjust. Well, they're unjust. So angels are causing the unjust to die. Where were you? So the angels don't know where they were. That the angels caused to die while they were unjust said. So the angels don't know where people are that are unjust. Is that what that's saying?
I have no clue.
Oh, wow.
So angels
Okay.
caused people to die that were unjust to themselves. What does that mean to be unjust to yourselves?
I guess
Unjust.
it's sinning against yourself. I maybe you didn't take
Surely
enough booty to
those,
make. Maybe you didn't take enough booty to be happy.
surely those that the angels caused to die while they were unjust to themselves said, how can you say something after the angels killed you?
Well,
Where
that would
were
be logical
you?
questioning.
Where were you? They said. I don't understand. Is this in the hereafter? We were weakened on the earth, they said. Was not Allah?
Okay, so they are dead. You're right. They're dead. We were weakened on the earth, so they're answering after they're dead.
Right, but the resurrection
We
day
were.
hasn't come yet.
So how are they answering?
I don't know. They
But
said,
that's
was not Allah's earth broad enough for you to emigrate in? I have no freaking clue what this is talking about.
so these are dead people talking. The
Yeah,
only
I
thing that
would
makes
think
sense
so.
here.
So those will have their abode in hell and an evil final place. Okay. This is the clear book, detailed and explained. Okay, 98. Except the weakened among the men and the women and the children, they could not find the means of escape and were not guided away. So what does that mean? Oh, if you're
Well,
weak, if you're a weakened man and women and children, and you were killed because you couldn't find a way to escape
that's
because
because
you
Allah
were not
didn't show you a way.
because Allah didn't show you a way. So those
Allah doesn't
perhaps
care.
Allah will pardon them. And Allah was pardoning, forgiving.
Wait. And it's only perhaps because Allah doesn't know.
Right. Now, does this have anything to do with the hadith when the guys came to Muhammad and said, "Hey, what about the children and the women that we killed during the night raid?" Muhammad said, "Who gives a shit? They're not from us." Maybe this is what it's saying here, So don't worry about it, Maybe that's what it means. 100. And whoever immigrates for the sake of Allah, so whoever becomes a Muslim for the sake of Allah, will find on the earth many places of refuge and abundant resources. Okay, Allah, why is the majority of Muslim countries shitholes? How come you didn't supply them with refuge and abundant resources? And how come they took the Westerners, the mushrikeen, the polytheists, the kafir, to find the oil in the countries that are rich now? And whoever leaves from his house, immigrating to Allah and his messenger, then death overtakes him. So indeed, his wage is incumbent on Allah, and Allah was forgiving, merciful. So if you leave your house to become a Muslim and believe in the messenger, then you're killed, you die. So indeed, your wages is incumbent on Allah. So Allah has to decide if you're going to get wages or not. That's what I'm reading here. I have no clue other than that.
So do we
And
want to
Allah, and
stop it?
Allah,
We're at that
Allah,
2 hour.
and Allah was forgiving. Why? Allah's not forgiving anymore.
Allah was forgiving. Yeah, so he's no longer forgiving. That's what it means,
Yes,
right?
yeah. So 101. And when you journey, what is 40? 40 is fight for the sake of Allah. And when you fight for the sake of Allah on the earth, So it is not a sin against you to cut short your prayers. And if you,
Oh, so that means did you just say it? I mean, it's what the Quran says, right? It's not a sin to cut short your prayers. So those Muslims who claim they need X amount of time to do their prayers, it's not a sin for them to cut short their prayers.
yeah, but that's only if you're fighting.
Bummer.
Because it says, and when you journey, and then number 40 says, fight for the sake of Allah on earth. Like, where will you fight if not on earth? Would you fight on Mars?
So if you're taking a trip, you can cut short your prayers.
No, not if you're taking a trip. If you're fighting for the sake of
When you
Allah.
journey on the earth, it says.
Yes, but 40, according to Osama, it says fight. It says fight for the sake of Allah. Do jihad.
Journey. So okay, that's a hijrah. If you're making a hijrah for a which is migrating,
No, that's not what
to commit
Osama's
an act.
saying. Osama's saying that you're going on a journey to fight for the sake of Allah. Then
Yeah.
you can cut your prayers short because hey, you got to do that killing, bro. You can't be wasting time praying when there's infidels to kill. And if you fear those who okay, it's not a sin against you to cut your prayers. If you fear that those who became infidels will seduce you, okay, shouldn't it be if you fear that they will kill you? I mean, you're fighting in a war. I don't think you're thinking about getting seduced unless it's a bunch of lovely female warriors. Surely the infidels were obvious enemies. Okay, all right. And if you were among them, so you performed for them the prayer. Okay, so you're among the enemy. So, okay, I'm confused. And if you were among them, so you perform for them the prayer.
You're among your enemy and you pray for them, huh?
So let a group of them rise up with you. I don't think this is saying if you are among the infidels.
Among who then?
I guess the other Muslims. So perform for them a prayer. I don't know.
It's not clear again.
This is so disjointed. So let a group of them rise up with you. Okay, rise up and do what? Okay, so let a group of them rise up with you and let them take their weapons. So when they worship, so they will be behind you.
That's not a cool place when you're at war. Has someone behind you. I'm sorry. I don't like that idea.
I don't want to have people with weapons behind me, especially if they're not my friends. Okay, behind you. And let another group that has not prayed come forward. Okay, so let them pray with you and let them take their precautions and their weapons. I mean, come on, Muslims, seriously. If you're reading this, how the hell do you believe that this is from a God? This God is like, what is he, 2
He's
years
messed
old?
up as far as strategy. I mean, all I can think of is he's talking about reinforcements, but even so, even if he's talking about reinforcements, why would a God need reinforcements? I mean,
okay, so those who became infidels desire for you to neglect your weapons and your goods so that they might turn on you at once. Okay, and it will be no sin against you if there was any harm of rain.
yeah, I forgot to tell you, Muhammad's afraid of rain.
Okay.
He's afraid of clouds that bear rain. Yeah.
Or okay, so there will be no sin against you if there was any harm of rain. Okay, or if you were sick, to put down your weapons and take your precautions. I don't know what that means, to put down your weapons. So if it's raining, that's okay. You can put down your weapons if it's raining and take your precautions. We don't know what these precautions are. Does that mean put on your raincoat? Surely Allah has prepared a shameful torment for the infidels.
Oh, you know what? The only thing I can think of is harm of rain is a flash flood.
Did you see a flash flood in the middle of the desert? Nah, I mean, those
that happens. That happens.
Not that often, I would say.
Well, it does. It's it's not every day, but it happens enough that when, and if we're talking about a desert people and a rain, sometimes it's a flash flood. I mean, I have friends out in Vegas when it rains. they get scared, so they actually have to go to high ground so they'll be
Well,
safe.
the Kaaba has been flooded at least once that I know of. So yeah,
Okay.
Allah didn't protect the Kaaba from being flooded,
Quick question.
but he protected it from a bunch of elephants.
Quick question.
What did I can't hear you? What do?
What does this chapter have to do with women?
That's a good question.
No clue. Now
Well,
it did start off about women, but now it's gone off on the deep end.
Yeah, but a whole chapter that mentions one or two or three, four verses about women, and the rest of it has nothing to do with women. The chapter is not about women.
I
Because
would say
if you
this
design the chapter for
chapter.
women, at least 75% of it should be about women.
I would say
it's
this
just
one.
like chapter 2. Where's that yellow cow?
I would say that this one is maybe 20%. If I'm being generous, maybe 30% about women.
I mean, again, we're talking. We got the chapter 2 about the bright yellow cow. We got chapter 3 about Imran. That's maybe only mentioned in a few verses, and nothing else.
Right.
I don't know who came up with these ideas of names for chapters, but they're so far out there.
Most likely, you're going to find another chapter with a different name that is talking about women.
There you go. Okay, so 103. So when you will have completed the prayers, so remember Allah standing and sitting and reclining. So when you are secure, so perform the prayer. Surely the prayer is prescribed at fixed times for the believers. What fixed times? What does Allah say what the fixed times are? Okay. Osama says, never tire of pursuing your enemies, the infidels. Muhammad is told to seek forgiveness for his sin. But I thought Muhammad didn't sin. Okay, 104. Do not be weak in pursuing the people. Now, why would you need to pursue people if you're only fighting in self defense? See, now you're looking for trouble. You're going out and you're looking for trouble. If you are suffering pain, so surely they suffer pain as you suffer pain, and hope from Allah for what they cannot hope. Okay. And Allah was knowing wise. Surely we
He
have
only
sent,
was. He doesn't know anymore. So Allah
right.
was knowing. He
Surely
just
we have
doesn't know.
sent down the book to you with the truth that you may judge between the people according to what Allah has shown you. But what book?
I haven't
Again, we
figured
don't
that
know
one
what
out.
book because we did see in this chapter Allah could mention the Quran. So he is capable of saying the Quran. But here he says, sent down the book to you. Now, Muslims will say, oh, it's talking about the Quran because this is talking to Muhammad. How do you know it's Muhammad?
But again, we can't. The Quran didn't exist at this time, so there wasn't a book.
Right. Now, if Allah would have said, and surely we have sent down revelations to you with truth, that might be okay. Okay, just between people according to what Allah has shown you. But Allah never showed Muhammad anything. It was Jibreel. And we don't even know if it was
That's
Jibreel.
another good important point.
If
Thank
you
you.
notice so far, everything is written in this book is after the fact.
Right.
Yeah, that's correct. There was no Quran until long after Muhammad was dead.
So how could this be prediction from Allah? In order for Allah to predict something, he has to send a book predicting about tomorrow. But
That's a
this
good
is
point.
already done and happened and gone, history. Now we're talking about history. How is it prediction?
It's not, and that's the absolute truth. And in his concept of, I don't see any of this. We haven't read any prophecies. That's the one thing we haven't read. We've read a lot of talk about things past that never happened, and that are so far off from historically accurate. But yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, and Allah is knowing why. Surely we so we don't know who this book is. And do not be an advocate for the betrayers. And ask forgiveness of Allah. Okay, why is he asking forgiveness? Forgiveness for what? Surely Allah was forgiving and merciful. So Allah is no longer forgiving and merciful. Okay. 107. And do not dispute on behalf of those who betray themselves. Okay. Surely Allah does not love who was treacherous,
But
sinful.
from what I've been reading, if you're treacherous and sinful, according to what we've read so far, it's
That's
because
Allah.
Allah wants you to be treacherous and sinful.
So Allah doesn't love you for doing or being treacherous and sinful, because Allah is the one who made you treacherous and sinful. They hide themselves from the people, and they do not hide themselves from Allah. Okay. And He is with them when they hold nightly discourses, which do not please Him. So Allah, okay, Allah is present with the people who do nightly discourses. And Allah was encompassing what they do. Okay.
It sounds like Allah is a peeping Tom again.
Could be. Okay, 109. Here you are. Those who dispute in their favor in the world's life. I have no clue what that means. So who will dispute with Allah for them on the resurrection day?
So anybody want to debate? I will. I'm
And who,
offering.
and who will be a guardian over them? And whoever does evil or treats himself unjustly, then asks forgiveness of Allah, he will find Allah forgiving, merciful. But we all know that Allah decides if He wants to be forgiving and merciful. And whoever earns sin, so surely he earns it against himself. And Allah was knowing, wise. We got about 10 minutes before we wrap it up. Don't want to go over 2.5 hours. And when, okay, and
Hold on. Paul, other
Yes.
than the understanding, what is the difference, actually, what is the similarity between the Quran and the Bible? Other than the obvious.
Say it again, please. I'm sorry.
What is the similarity between the Quran and the Bible other
Nothing.
than the obvious?
There's nothing. I mean, the only similarity is he mentions some people that are in the Bible.
No.
He doesn't mention them historically accurately. He doesn't give a complete story. He just mentions their names and has pieces of stories, and they are totally off, and he's not consistent when he communicates it, whoever he is. I'll give credit to Allah that he can't be consistent when he communicates.
With all due respect, no. We never say that the Bible was sent. We always say the Bible was inspired.
Yes.
Therefore, it is written by humans who were inspired.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. Now come
So
to
it's
the
not.
Quran.
I mean, I don't.
It's
That's what
written
I
in
thought.
the same exact way. It's written by somebody else who's telling us stories about Allah and about this and about that.
I mean, they don't have anything to do with each other.
It's written by a third party that is not Allah for sure. So the Quran is similar with the Bible that are written by people. It's not written by Allah. Allah did not send a written book, or He not even dictate the book.
Yeah, and that's actually documented in the Bible. We know who the authors are of the 66 books. I think there's only maybe 1-2 books we're not sure of the author, but I mean, all of those, we have the names of the authors. We know who they are. I mean, it's all so highly documented. It's just, I find when they keep saying Allah is sent down and they're referring to the Torah, that doesn't make sense because Allah didn't send, the God of the Bible did not send books. He gave, and the people had prophecies, and the prophets wrote down those prophecies. In the Gospels, he didn't send down the Gospels to the people. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John did research. They went and interviewed the people who were around Christ and learned about it, and then they wrote it. In fact, one of them is a medical doctor. That's Luke. Luke is a medical professional, so he understands the importance of research. So when he wrote, he did. I mean, you'll find in his writings it's probably more explicit because again, he's a medical professional at that time period. He's a physician. It's documented. John, the one who loves Christ, he writes the inside story, which people don't always hear. He was one of the three. Again, they all did some research. They all had the stories, and they wrote it down. There's no God worked through them. And when we talk inspired, there's another. The only time I like the NIV is when instead of using the word inspired, it uses the terminology God breathed. I like that term better than inspired because it seems to make more sense to me, where God breathed through these people, and that's what they put down. And the cool thing about these gospels, when they do conflict and they do tell a slightly different story, if you're a law enforcement professional, you can use that to actually prove that the gospels are accurate. That's what I found is fascinating because there's actual law enforcement people who have written incredible studies on how this proves how eyewitness testimony in this manner, where there are some small conflicts, actually proves the story true.
Yes, because the conflicts end up with the same result.
Yes.
If the conflict were opposite from each other, that doesn't prove anything.
Well,
But
I mean, when you're not,
in other
in
words,
this,
if you say he was wearing green, I said he was wearing yellow. But at the end of the day, we both agree that this specific individual with this face committed the crime.
yes. And here's the other thing. I mean, it's very clear. The story is the message is clear. I don't think there's anything. I mean, there's some things I'll say that are so tediously clear. Tediously, I mean, I'll tell you, boring. Okay. There are some passages in the Torah that are so clear, so tedious that they're so explicit that they are boring to read. I'm not denying that. When you're reading law, anybody read law books? Anybody get excited when they read law books?
I have a criminal justice background.
Yeah. So, but you know what I mean? Because I mean,
Yeah.
I read them. I've actually written. Here's. I am somebody who has actually written something that became a law. So, what I wrote, it was boring. I'm sorry, it was boring, and it passed. Oh, am I excited? Yeah, but law is not always easy to read. So we get to this when we talk about stories, the Ketubim of the Old Testament, or we're talking about the Gospels in the New Testament. Those stories, or you're talking about the Book of Acts as well. Those are stories, and there are stories within each of the in each of the epistles as well. So listen, each of those things flow. There is no disjointed. God knows what I mean. No disjointed, unclear communication. That I mean, we keep asking throughout this: who is they? Who is them? I say to you people who are listening, if you are followers of Islam, throw this book in the garbage. Pick up the book that it told you is accurate, which is the Bible. Pick it up and seek the Lord Jesus with all your heart. All you got to do is get on your knees, pray, and say, Lord God, I mean, if you're not sure who Jesus is, ask him to prove himself to you, and open that book. I'm going to suggest you start with
Amen
either
to
the book
that.
of Mark or the book of John. And I'm going to suggest those two books. Mark is the fastest read, and it's an action book. John is the book of the loved apostle, or the loved disciple of Christ. So those are the two, I would say, the two easiest to read if you're going to start with the Gospels. I recommend them. There's just so much there. As we read this, there is so much conflict, so much misunderstanding, because this God Allah is not a clear communicator, and it's like he has ADHD, epilepsy, and I don't know what all. But as I say, fall on your knees, ask Jesus to show you if he's real. I mean, that's all you got to do. You don't even, at that point, you don't even have to trust him. All you need to do is ask, because if you're following a God who is this unclear in how he communicates to you, you're not seeking God. You're seeking to serve somebody and submit to somebody who tells you what to do. Because if he can't communicate to you clearly, he has to make you do things. It's sad. Thank you. Sorry about going over.
All right, no problem. Well, I guess with that, since it's 7:26, where did we leave off? We left off on 112. So I'll leave this up unless my computer crashes.
Okay,
So
hold
we're
on.
on 112.
I'll mark it. So we're starting at 112?
Can we leave
Yes.
at least 10 minutes for just general discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. Paul, how confident are you with the Old Testament prophecies specifically in reference to Jesus Christ?
Oh, that's an easy one. If you go to Isaiah 53,
I have a reason for me asking. Okay, I don't want you to tell me, but I have a reason. Are you very confident with?
incredibly
I'm
confident.
talking about only about Jesus Christ, not all the other prophecies that refer to
No,
Jesus.
I'm incredibly confident.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Mr. Comment Warrior, do you have contact with Tuvia Singer?
He says his mic is not working, which I don't understand.
Well, he can put it in text. The
He's
reason
on,
I'm asking,
he's on the show.
the only way you can prove to a Jew who did not accept Christ that the Old Testament speaks about Jesus Christ is by taking every single prophecy and match it from day one when the Virgin Mary got pregnant and so forth. If each prophecy apply on this individual who we call Jesus Christ, therefore the prophecies apply to him, therefore he is what was prophesied with. But to use the New Testament, try to prove to the Jew about the Old Testament, it doesn't work. Are you following me, Paul?
I have friends that are Jewish. I have a professor who was Jewish who was asked to prove that Jesus was not the Messiah, and he was reading the Torah, the Ketubim, the Navim, and the Ketubim, and he discovered that every time he tried to prove Jesus was not the Messiah, that he was wrong, because every scripture in the that refers to every prophecy that refers to the Messiah was connected to Jesus of Nazareth. So this is the statement. These are I have personal friendships. One of my best professors ever, Dr. Mike Miles. I hope he's out there listening sometime. He taught me more in one class. I actually took 2 classes from him, but he taught me more about the simplicity of who Jesus was, simply through the way his heart reacted to, he was trying to prove that Jesus wasn't the fulfillment of prophecy, and it didn't work. It didn't work for him. Chuck Colson did the same thing. There's several different people who actually went out there. Their goal was to prove Christ wrong. It wasn't Chuck Colson. Josh McDowell did the same thing, tried to prove Christ wrong. And what happens every single time that people do that, and do it with a critical thinking lens, they end up finding who Jesus is. It's there. I mean, I just ask people to, if you want to be serious and you want to be someone who considers facts and be my biggest request to everybody out there that's listening, put on your critical thinking cap, use common sense, and you'll never be surprised. You'll never be surprised. And I'm going to give a hard time to this guy, Warrior. When somebody can't debate, I'll say this, why somebody can't debate people, it doesn't matter. Some people aren't worth your time as far as debating. I don't actually debate anyone at this point. I don't have the time to waste. I'll go out there and I'll reach people who want to hear. I don't bother spending my time on people who want to prove their want to deceive others, and that's what sometimes the debate is. You have one person telling the truth and one person who's a deceiver or totally deluded. So I honestly do not do any debates. I enjoy debating. I won't deny that. When I do walk into those situations, I love every bit of it. But the sad thing is, I don't like when people come out and they lie through their teeth, and that we've seen that. Crossing the crescent, we see people do that all the time, and I'm, we're giving them a voice, and I'm not speaking against that. I'm hoping that they listen while they're talking. We've listened to I can't tell you how many shows I've watched where people like David Wood, people like Christian Prince, and I can go on and on. Sam Shimon, they'll sit there and debate. And my biggest issue is I sit there and I watch the Muslims, I'm picking on the Muslims, who will debate them. And they sit there and lie to their public about what the Quran says. They'll lie to their public about what they're, they'll even make up stuff on the spot and be deceitful because their God is the greatest of deceivers. And that's okay. I love debating. I'm not denying that. But I just, when I'm communicating, so far I haven't had a reason to debate, and that's what it really comes down to. I haven't had God put me there. I just don't. I'm not there yet where God thinks I'm ready for that or wants me to do that. I teach people how to debate, so that's the other side of that.
It's like me teaching you how to swim, and I drown in the bathtub. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I can teach you how to swim, how to move your arms, do the backstrokes, all that, but don't ask me to swim because I drown in the bathtub.
I actually do some. Yeah, I teach apologetics. I do everything on the back. I do all the other stuff. I give them the tools. If they want to do the debates, great. But I don't. I haven't engaged in debates since my college days. So I used to do a lot of debating back then, but I give people the tools to do these things. But I'm looking at it this way right now, where the way God is using me is more direct. I'm not there to have that. I'll listen. I will listen to the person speak, but I'm not there for public. And when I'm saying debates in specific, I'm specifically mean public forums. That's not what God has for me just now. But I do. When I'm asked to debate somebody, it's been private, and I have not lost anything yet. But what I have unfortunately had to reveal over and over again is that someone is being deceived, and is trying to deceive others, and that's the only reason why I'm saying that. Yeah.
Well, I honestly don't like debates. I like more challenges, Q's and A's. I ask you a question, give me an answer with fact and proof.
Yes. Yeah, the question and answer form, I like that.
Debates don't prove nothing, because when I come to debate you, my group, no matter what, they're going to consider me a winner. Your group, no matter what, they're going to consider you a winner. There is nobody out there to think about what each other say.
And that's actually, we did I'm sorry for taking this longer. A few years ago, Obama was in, I think it was, oh my gosh, I can't remember.
Sorry to correct you, Paul.
There was a debate forum where they did questions from a church.
I hate correcting you.
Yeah.
His name is Dum Bama.
Sorry, what?
Dum Bama.
And I call him Obama. But or the one I like is and I start to think about his last name. That donkey, that flying ass that flew through the air. That's the president we had, but he actually did a debate forum, and he was against McCain, and he was at a church where they did this, and they did the question and answer forum. And you know what? You're right. The question and answer forum was not a debate. They called it a debate. But the question and answer forum truly revealed who was able to answer questions. And that was a shocking thing because they hadn't really, it was well done. I wish we could do more things like that. And each person they were singular. One person at a time answered questions. There was no debate. And, that was just truly revealing. I wish we did more things like that, but that's me. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr.
When I was referring you with Tovia Singer, is basically to take him step by step on each prophecy and match it using the Old Testament by itself.
Yeah.
Comment asked, why doesn't he debate Sam Shamoun or CP? I have no issues with the Christian Prince. Sam, he's a little bit off the wall sometimes. But the problem with them is they will go to the New Testament to explain what's in the Old Testament. You cannot do that if somebody rejects the New Testament. Me as a Christian, I reject the Quran. I cannot accept a Muslim explaining my Bible using his Quran. A Jew rejects the New Testament. You can't expect him to accept the New Testament to define his book. So if you
I agree 100%
point out
with
from
what you're
his
saying.
own book, his own words, what everything stands for, you can't use something he rejects to prove him wrong.
That's why one of the things I write are devotionals, and I do the devotionals I do are I go through the book verse by verse, like what we're doing here on Dissecting the Quran. So it's verse by verse, and you can find some on Amazon if you're interested. But yeah. Thank you again, Dr. Kufarphobia. God bless
No
you.
problem, no problem. Thank you for being on here. Paul, what do? Mr. Comet, he's just here in spirit. I don't think his mic works, but he is in the background. All the ladies and gentlemen that were in the audience, aka the chat, thank you for my moderators. The
God
little
bless
did
you,
I
moderators.
the little that I did see of the chat, I didn't see any Muslims on the chat or anybody. I don't think I even saw one of those Russian bots.
I mean, it's funny because I actually really went nuts advertising this in the Twitter forum, and I have targeted Muslims. So, I think it'll be interesting later to see if you get comments later. But I did go nuts trying to advertise it to Muslims.
I'm gonna get comments, I'm pretty sure. But anyway,
I posted it on Twitter as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't even think about posting it on my Twitter account. But anyway, before we leave, we got to leave with an exit intro. Here we go.
Okay, before you exit, man, hold on. Before you go, how do you advertise it on TikTok?
I have no clue. I don't use TikTok.
I know how, but I just don't like it. That's me.
Okay, because I heard that there's big Islamic community on TikTok more than Twitter.
Huh.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But first of all, TikTok is big on China. And
my biggest issue is TikTok is owned by Beijing.
Right.
I won't have anything to do with it for that reason.
But so is Zoom. So, I mean, let's face it.
I don't do anything with Zoom.
Okay. Then you're like me. I did have to use it because when I had interviews in...
Yeah, I've had to do it for that purpose
in
only.
2020, I had to, even though I hated it, but I did delete it.
Yeah, I use Skype for that reason.
Right. But yeah, I don't like TikTok. I thought TikTok was banned, but I guess not.
No, and and I wouldn't be surprised if it's banned from federal government offices. But
right.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. So if there's no questions, Chinese propaganda. They probably just want all the information, which they probably already have. Okay, everybody. Let me see. Tomorrow, Eric's got his part 2 at 3:00.
And tonight there is a part 2. You can for Usama Dakdok's The Straight Way of Grace. It is on the textbooks being corrupted in your public schools.
Oh, okay. And I think Adelia put the link to the YouTube channel. Of course, I'll have to go look through the chat later on. And see
I'll
if-
post it into our groups. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's play my exit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know we've gone almost, definitely over 2.5 hours, but that's okay. Paul, if you want this for your videos, I can share it with you.
Thank you.
I gotta ask Eric if he wants to, because he's always forgetting to, tell people to share, like, subscribe. And I guess I will see most of you guys here tomorrow at 3 o'clock on the Cross and the Crescent. It's one of my favorite topics. Is Islam true? Unfortunately, I can't get any Muslims to debate me, although I have quite a few notifications that I need to respond to, but I can't get them to come. So, all right, guys, we'll do it again. If not tomorrow, then Monday, probably about 5 when I get home.
Okay.
All right,
problem.
take care.
God
And
bless. Thanks
enjoy
for-
enjoy the rest of your Saturday, guys.
Whatever left from it.
Huh?
Whatever left from it.
I know.